Beautiful night for a ball game tonight in Washington. We're at RFK Stadium where the Nationals and the Braves are about to have at it. The Nationals going for a sweep against Atlanta. Tonight we'll take a good long look at slugger Andruw Jones and the changes he's made that helped him hit 51 home runs last year, a major league best. The perennial Gold Glover turned 29 today, and before the game he chatted with Joe Morgan on the state of Andruw and the Braves. With Washington, we'll focus on the move of former second baseman Alfonso Soriano to left field and the challenges that have come with it. And we'll look back at the 50-year impact of Washington manager and Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. It's all next on Sunday Night Baseball. It's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. And tonight, on a beautiful night for a ball game, with the wind blowing in from center field, it's the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals, the second game of a rain-shortened series. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with Joe Morgan, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. The Nationals beat the Braves here Friday night. They got rained out last night, so they can sweep this abbreviated two-game set. The Braves, Joe, we're used to seeing them at the top, 14 consecutive division titles, but they're injured right now. Their top three hitters in the lineup are all missing because of injury. Marcus Giles, Edgar Renteria, and Chipper Jones all out. But Andruw Jones is in there, the man who led the majors with 51 home runs last year, and he's had an even better start this year than he did last.
Well, John, I think we've seen the passing of the torch. This has been Chipper Jones' team for a long period of time. It is no longer Chipper Jones' team. This is now Andruw Jones' team. When the teams start to look to play the Atlanta Braves now, they worry about Andruw Jones and keeping him in the ballpark. And I'm glad, I think Chipper Jones is happy for this. I think he's ready to pass the torch. And when I talked to Andruw today, he said he really feels good being 29 years old today and being kind of the old guy out there with all these young players. He said it makes him feel young.
All right, so we're going to a long look at the old guy, Andruw Jones, here tonight. Now, we'll also get a long look at Alfonso Soriano. He was in the center of controversy after they acquired him, moving him from second base to left field. He didn't want to do it. Well, he's made the move, and one thing is for sure, the move has not affected his hitting. He had 3 home runs here Friday, Joe.
And, John, I'm a little surprised at that. I thought he would get off to a slow start, trying to learn a new position. People don't realize how difficult it is to go from one position to the outfield and, you know, all of a sudden keep hitting. Now, the one thing that he has done, he has worked very, very hard. And talking to Frank Robinson, he is very pleased with what he has done to make himself a better outfielder. He said the only problems he has is balls in front of him drop sometimes, and balls down the line, he doesn't cut them off as quickly. But that comes with experience. So this guy's going to get better, but as long as he can swing the bat the way he does, I think they'll live with the rest of it.
All right. Now, he is a very fine hitter, as you know, but he is not the only hitter on this Washington lineup. Peter Gammons is here with us with more on that.
Well, John, Bobby Cox has been saying all weekend that the Nationals are becoming one of the most dangerous offensive teams that his club has to pitch to. I mean, it's not only Soriano, as Joe talked about. I mean, Jose Vidro is finally healthy again, hitting .375, getting on base at a .414 clip, and Nick Johnson is becoming the player we all thought he would be. .507 on base, .700 slugging. With those 3 guys at the front, if Jose Guillen gets healthy and you get the rest of the experience in that lineup, I really believe, John, that they can be one of the more dangerous offensive teams that anyone faces in the National League.
All right, Peter, and we'll get a long look at them tonight. They certainly have been hot here lately, that's for sure. They'll be up against the Braves' veteran right-hander, John Thomson, who's made 2 excellent starts, and getting ready to throw the first pitch of the game, Tony Armas of the Washington Nationals. Coming up, Braves Nationals right after this.
Chevy makes the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And now they're making it easier to drive one. Down payment assistance from Chevy. If you choose a Silverado or Colorado, Chevy will help you get in it. Down payment assistance. A better way to buy or lease a new Chevy pickup. Chevy, America's #1 brand, America's #1 value. Enough said. Chevy, an American revolution.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan.
What a lovely shot.
Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with Right Guard Gel. No other gel is stronger. Right Guard. Start right and right.
You don't care why they keep coming home. You're just glad they do. That's why at Lowe's, we give you free next-day local delivery and free haul-away, plus low prices on over 250 brand-name appliances in stock every day.
Is this the only reason you come home?
No.
No?
No. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 12 months on purchases of $299 or more now through April 30th.
You okay? I'm working like a dog. I run down to the print department, scan color documents, make color prints, run back, get approvals, run up to 5 and have to fax stuff all over the place. But I think I'm getting noticed. Is it rough by you too?
Not that rough.
What do you mean?
There's a color multifunction machine on my floor. I scan, copy, print, and fax and color from there. There's nothing to it.
Don't do this to me.
Xerox Color. It makes business.
You guys have to make sure you have plenty of room, okay? Slide on your donut. Get yourself loose. Heavy enough for you? There you go.
This is how a pitcher hits.
Boys and Girls Clubs is the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together, they create a positive place for kids.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by the Spicy Chicken Burrito on Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu. Think outside the bun. And in part by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. John Deere. Check out the new line of riding mowers at johndeere.com today. And Xerox, helping your business grow with technology, document management, and consulting services.
The Atlanta Braves getting ready to come to bat here in the nation's capital. There's Brian Jordan, the veteran, who's excited to be on TV on Sunday Night Baseball. Now the Braves batting order presented by Taco Bell. It will be Pete Orr at third base in place of the injured Chipper Jones. Wilson Betemit at shortstop in place of Edgar Renteria. And hitting third, Ryan Longerhans, the left fielder. And he's done a great job so far this year. Andrew Jones got 8 home runs, 23 batted in already in center field. It'll be LaRoche at first base with 4 homers. They've hit pretty well. Jeff Francoeur, off to a painfully slow start, but he's really come around here lately to get the average up as high as it is. Brian McCann, the young catcher, hitting .292. And just up in the minor leagues because of another injury to Marcus Giles. And there is Prado at second base with John Thomson, the pitcher, batting 9th. And they're all up against the right-hander, Tony Armas. The son of a former big league slugger, and he's had a lot of arm problems, and they're hopeful that he's past all of that now.
Well, he still throws the ball well in spite of injuries, John, but I think the key is going to be his control. He seems to lose his control sometimes during the game. He hasn't had that consistent control that he had before. And when we talked to Frank Robinson, he says, well, he's throwing okay. That was all we could get out of him tonight.
That's a pretty good compliment, though, from Frank. And the first pitch is in there for a strike to Pete Orr, and we are underway. Pete Orr, Canadian, rookie last year, 6 hits, 30 at bats so far this year. A nice pickup by Nick Johnson on a tough hop. There's one away.
And John, let's take a look at the defense behind Tony Armas Jr. And we're going to spotlight Alfonso Soriano in left field. And Frank said he doesn't have any trouble going to left center and moving back even to his right, but he does have some problems on balls that are hit in front of him. But you would expect that from a guy that's, coming from the infield and doesn't want to make any mistakes out there.
There's Alfonso Soriano.
I give him a lot of credit for trying and being willing to, work at it as he's done.
There's ball 1 to Wilson Betemit. Alfonso Soriano, who was probably the #1 slugging second baseman in the game.
Right.
And all of a sudden he got traded, and then they wanted to change positions, except nobody had really asked Alfonso about it.
And the guy's a 4-time All-Star. It's not like, he had never done anything at second base. He wasn't a great defensive second baseman. There are a lot of those people who played second base that weren't great defensive players.
So you understood, his objection.
His point, yes.
Frank Robinson got a lot of experience. He was one of the all-time great sluggers in the game. He recently managed his 1,000th career victory, 16th season as a big league manager. And he has been a great foundation of strength and stability to this franchise in their final years in Montreal and their first 2 years here in Washington. It is still a sort of an orphaned franchise that has been operated by Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has been the owner of the Washington Nationals, and they keep saying that they're going to announce to whom they're going to sell the ball club, but no announcement has yet been made. Nick Johnson, Armas covering, and Betemit is retired, so 2 men gone.
I think one of the things that I'm told is that the reason they haven't announced it so quickly is because there were other things going on with this city council, etc. But now there are a lot of, I guess not a lot, but there are some qualified buyers, and they're trying to make sure they get the right one.
Ryan Lagerhan's the hitter now. Lagerhan's second-year man. The Braves really, they did a lot of rebuilding last year as they were winning their 14th consecutive division title. And that's one of the amazing things. I mean, it seems like they've rebuilt 2 or 3 times and still won. And they had just a whole big long list of rookies who came on last year, and these guys knew how to play. Lagerhan's not only is hitting well right now, but he has just been superb in left field. You got Andrew Jones out there and Francoeur on one side, and this guy Lagerhan's on the other side. That is an outstanding defensive outfield. None of them being shifted from second base and trying to learn the position.
You're right. No, they already know how. You're right. Yeah. But guess what? It would be a good outfield if Andrew Jones was out there by himself. It'd still be pretty good.
Yeah. If you can't look good playing alongside Andrew, maybe you're just not very good. And that's a foul back out of play. So Lagerhan's giving Armas a workout here. Tony Armas, as we said, the son of a former slugger. I mean, he was a great slugger in the 70s and the 80s. Tony Armas with the A's, the Red Sox, came up originally with the Pirates, but his son is a pitcher.
I used to love to watch his dad swing the bat, Tony. I mean, he had a long swing, but it was powerful. He hit a lot of home runs.
All power.
All power. You're exactly right.
Let's go back and take a look. When he was with the Red Sox.
Ooh, that's a powerful swing right there.
Gone. Over everything, as Kent Coleman, the great Red Sox broadcaster, used to say. Over the wall, over the net, and out onto the streets of Boston. 2-2 to Lagerhan's, battling it out here with Armas Jr. Past the mound. Vidro off the bag, and he's safe at first. That'll be an infield hit for Lagerhan's, and it keeps the inning alive for Andrew Jones.
Well, what happens is he goes deep. He makes the backhand stop. His momentum is taking him towards center field. He throws off balance, and that's why his throat was wide of the bag.
But it is a hit, and that is significant because Vidro has not made an error in a good long while. He had not made an error this year. This is the 18th game of the year for the Nationals as Andrew Jones takes a called strike. Andrew, he started last year at a big slump. It was certainly, he gave no indication that he was about to bust loose with 51 home runs. But this year, he started hot right from the very beginning. That will go back out of play. A little late on that fastball. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think one of the things that has happened, John, is they've thrown so many breaking balls over the years to try to, keep him off balance, and he was having a problem with the breaking ball. Now he's made the adjustment, and now I think they're trying to go inside. Now they threw outside on the first pitch, fastball in, and he's not used to people attacking him that way.
2 strikes to him. And he got him chasing the slider. Armas strikes out Andrew Jones and retires the side. 1 hit, 1 left. Now, Washington coming up with Alfonso Soriano when we return.
You've got one on your tail.
They gaming on me?
Not a chance. Isn't Esurance one of the fastest-growing auto insurance companies in America?
You bet. Thousands of drivers switch to Esurance every week.
So why does Esurance cruise past the competition?
With some of the fastest quotes on the web, Esurance makes auto insurance easy.
And you can print your insurance cards instantly.
Quote by print.
Finish line.
If you're on the go, you gotta have Esurance.
Get your fast, free auto insurance quote. Visit Esurance.com today.
When the IRS levied my business and personal accounts, I didn't know where to turn. My CPA recommended American Tax Relief.
If you owe over $10,000 to the IRS or state, call American Tax Relief for a free consultation.
Look, the IRS is offering you a one-time opportunity to settle your debt. This is your 1 second chance. Use it well.
I thought I was going to lose my business, but American Tax Relief got me a second chance.
Call 800-493-8114 for your free consultation.
Continue Friday at 8 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Sunday Night Baseball, we're at RFK Stadium in Washington. Braves nothing. The Nationals are coming up now. Let's take a look at the Nationals batting order presented by Taco Bell. Alfonso Soriano, he had 3 home runs here against the Braves on Friday. Hitting well. Jose Vidro, he's healthy again, hitting .375 second base. Nick Johnson, he's healthy. Look at that, .383. It is Jose Guillen in right field, another powerful hitter, but he's had some injury problems. Ryan Zimmerman, one of the top young prospects in the game. Ryan Church in left field, he recently had 4 homers in 3 days. Royce Clayton, the veteran shortstop, filling in the case of injury. And there's Schneider, the catcher, hitting 8th, and Tony Armas is the pitcher, batting 9th, all up against John Thomson, a veteran right-hander who's had 2 very strong starts, but the bullpen was not able to hold the lead in either one.
Well, he threw only 74 pitches, John, in a 6-inning one-hitter last time, but he's thrown the ball well, good sinker, and a changeup.
So here we go. Soriano. That is a strike on the outside. Soriano had 2 home runs, 2 solos against John Smoltz here on Friday night. And then later hit a 3-run home run that iced it in the 8th inning. Back to the screen. Friday night, let's go back here. His first one against John Smoltz. And I think he got all of it. And then number 2 also against Schmaltz. And finally this 3-run shot against Villarreal. And that was the big one.
And John, when he stays back, and you can see in all 3 of those, he stayed back and used his hands. I mean, he is a wonderful hitter. When he lunges is when he gets in trouble.
That is foul off the right field line.
And he looks like he's in one of those grooves where he's staying back now, and he was back on the last pitch. That's the only time I've seen him have trouble is when he starts to lunge at it, and then the off-speed pitches, curveballs really fool him. But as long as he stands back and just uses his hands, I mean, he is just fun to watch.
In the dirt with the slider. John Thomson was stricken with injuries much of last year. Really only was available to the Braves for about half the season. He had a 14-win season for them 2 years ago, his first in Atlanta. He has not given up a home run in a long while. None this year. In fact, he's gone through 115 batters without allowing a home run. He's the only Major League pitcher before today to have handed a lead to the bullpen and not gotten the win in either game. 2-2 the count to Soriano. And did he swing? They appeal it. No, says first base umpire Mike Winters.
And his quick and strong hand saved him there because he definitely committed for a moment, and then he was able to stop it. See, he's committed right there. He's going to swing. Now he stops it. Look at that good, strong hands. Frank Robinson was so good at that, he could actually swing at the ball and stop it. I mean, he could. I mean, he actually swung, and then he'd stop it when he missed it.
Just got a piece of that one. He threw him the low breaking ball on 3-2. It was 0-2, by the way. And when you talk about Soriano, even though he's a very powerful, dangerous hitter, he does not often get a walk. I mean, he's very aggressive. And nonetheless, after falling behind 0-2, he's taken it all the way to 3-2, and I think he might have just swung at ball 4 right there.
He did, but like you said, he's not what you call a real patient hitter at the plate.
Thomson will try it again. And I think he got himself a walk right there. In the dirt, ball 4. So Alfonso Soriano is aboard, and Peter Gammons sitting down below. And Peter, what about Soriano?
Well, at the beginning of spring training, when he was in the WBC, Alfonso told me, I'm really worried about being embarrassed. I'm comfortable at second. I'm not comfortable in left. I played about 4 games with the Yankees. It did not go well. And he also made the point, and I think it's a very valid one, that, he believes that he can get to the Hall of Fame as a second base. We don't criticize Jeff Kent for that. I don't think we have the right to criticize Soriano. I asked him tonight, how's it going? He went, we'll see. And I asked him, well, where are you going to play next year? He said, wherever they pay me.
All right, so Peter Gammons on Alfonso Soriano, and now Jose Vidro. That's one reason why Soriano, they needed a power hitter here, but they didn't need a second baseman with Jose Vidro, the incumbent. And Peter, Vidro has not been heard from a whole lot the last 2-3 years because of injury, but I mean, he's one of the best hitting second basemen this side of Soriano.
Yeah, but good point. I'm glad you said this side of Soriano, because he's a great hitter too. I think, Vidro can't play anyplace else. That's the way I understand it when I talk to Frank Robinson.
The second base, they get 1 at second. The relay back to first, double play. So Prado, the young second baseman, starting a double play with Betemit, the man in the middle. Vidro grounds into a pair, 2 down, nobody on.
Well, they've got 2 excellent hitting second basemen, with only Soriano in Frank's and the Bowden's mind can play the outfield, so that's why he's there. And a nice turn, 6-4-3, and that first throw is always the most important one, and he gives it perfectly, head, shoulder high, and from there it's just playing catch with the first baseman.
So Martin Prado, in his first major league experience, and he's been brought up because the regular second baseman, Marcus Giles, has an injured middle finger. And so Prado in there tonight. Ball 1 to Nick Johnson, and this guy has really been smoking lately. Former Yankee, but he just could not stay healthy enough, and finally the Yankees moved him.
Well, he actually didn't stay healthy last year, John. He was having a good year last year, and he got hurt. So injury has been his biggest problem, not so much not producing. He just had a lot of injuries that have knocked his numbers down.
Well, last year, he missed 24 games. That's relatively healthy for him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
He missed more than half a season 2 years ago. He's the nephew of longtime big leaguer Larry Bowa, who's now, ironically, Nick Johnson's no longer a Yankee, but Larry Bowa is. Larry Bowa is now, I believe, the third base coach for the Yankees. Nick Johnson, who always not only has been a hitter and with power for average, but very discerning at the plate, gets a lot of walks. That's a fair ball just past the bag. Down the right field line, Francoeur has a very strong arm, but Johnson will ease into second. A double.
Well, one of the things they do is they try to jam Nick Johnson, and he did jam him with this fastball in, but he got enough of it and hit it in a perfect spot. So they're trying to go inside. He does jam him, but he hits it in a perfect location right down the line. He gets the barrel out enough that he gets enough wood on it. See how they're playing off the line, and that ball's not hit that sharply, but it's hit in the right spot. Good job by Nick Johnson to fight that ball off from the inside.
I mean, a lot of guys with a pitch that far off the inside, they would have hit it foul.
And not only that, either they hit it foul or they just pop it up.
Here is Jose Guillen, and that is a called strike. Guillen was really the big slugger for the Nationals last year, their inaugural season here in Washington. And a lot of guys felt that the fences were too far distant in this ballpark. It's kind of hard to tell so far this year because this is only their 5th home game. They've played 13 games on the road already. That ball is hit well. Deep into right center field. Way back. Goodbye. No, off
off the base of the wall. I beg your pardon.
I thought it did disappear right into that blue sign there, but
it is a double, not a home run. A double and an RBI for Guillen, and it is 1-0 Washington.
Well, maybe these fences are too far because he drilled that ball. But you mentioned earlier the winds blowing in from center field may have knocked that down. I mean, because that ball was hit well enough to get out of here and would have been out of most parts in the major leagues.
I think it disappeared in the French fry bag, Joe.
A little slider over the outside corner, and he thinks he got it. So he thinks it's out of here. And then he realizes where he's playing. So he'd been on the road. He'd hit that ball that well, it would go out, but not here.
So here now is Ryan Zimmerman, the 21-year-old third baseman. And it is 0-1. I mean, what's a French fry bag doing on the outfield wall anyway?
Well, it says going, gone. And
maybe that was
disappear.
It.
Yeah, it did disappear.
Yeah, good. Goodbye and then hello. So a double for Guillen. I know at one point last year he had some incredible ratio, like 19 homers on the road and 1 at home, something like that.
Well, you can feel the wind coming in from center field, so it definitely knocked that ball down.
Thomson has not allowed a home run for a long, long time, and that streak is still alive. He's faced 119 batters since he last allowed a home run. Zimmerman takes a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Zimmerman's numbers are not very good. Only .231 average, 1 homer in 65 at-bats. But you talk to scouts and general managers around the game, and everybody's convinced this guy's going to be a big star. Ryan Zimmerman with a runner at second. A run in for the Nationals against Thomson. And that is the inning. 1-0. Washington out in front. Adam LaRoche coming up for the Braves, and then Jeff Francoeur, a rookie sensation himself last year, coming up.
Successful investing. At T. Rowe Price, it's about more than just hitting home runs. It's about a consistent, steady approach, year after year. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, over 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
When you're a star like me, things are taken care of. You see? A second bag. Second.
Even my independent insurance agent spoils me.
Ryan, after comparing a number of companies, I recommend Drive Insurance from Progressive. You'll get a policy customized just for you.
How does the other half live?
Actually, I do it for everyone.
To find an agent who'll take care of you, go to driveinsurance.com. When design impacts performance, performance returns the favor. The 6-speed, 298 horsepower G35. Behold, the shape of performance. Infinity, a line has been drawn. Now lease the Infinity G35 sedan for $359 per month. At DuPont, we've tested and tested to find the best way to protect your car's finish inside and out. The result? DuPont Car Care products, the only ones with Teflon to form a non-stick protective barrier, so dirt and mud have a hard time sticking. Now visit us online for great deals on DuPont Car Care products.
You're wearing your varsity tennis jersey from high school. Yeah? Is this because I wore my old Philadelphia Eagles jacket to work yesterday?
No, I just felt like wearing this. It's comfortable. What makes them different makes them great. Mike and Mike in the Morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Sunday Night Baseball continues from Washington. And here is Adam LaRoche taking a strike from Tony Armas. And it is 0-1. LaRoche hitting 5th in the order. Then Jeff Francoeur and Brian McCann. 3 young guys. LaRoche is the old guy of the young guys. This is his 3rd year already in the big leagues. A ball and a strike. But Tony Armas, John, I was told that Tony, I've always called him Tony Armas Jr. because I remember seeing his dad many times. But I was told he doesn't like to be called Junior. Just likes to be called Tony Armas. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Popped up foul. Third base side. Zimmerman a long run and gets there. One away. Francoeur coming up. Now let's go to the studio to John Buchagras and a Sports Center 30 and 30 update.
NBA playoffs. Pacers and Suns won their game ones. Tim Thomas 22 and 15 for Phoenix, while Anthony Johnson hit 2 free throws with 0.9 seconds left as the Pacers beat the Nets. 40-year-old Greg Maddux went to 4-0, career win 324, 2 behind Ryan and Sutton. Maddox's ERA is 0.99. Roy Oswalt also went to 4-0. Full details on SportsCenter after the game on ESPN News anytime.
All right, John, and Jeff Francoeur is gone on one pitch. A one-hopper to the third baseman Zimmerman. Francoeur is quickly retired. 2 down, and here is Brian McCann, the young Atlanta catcher.
That might be a reason right there why Francoeur has not walked this year in 70 at-bats. First thing he can reach, he swings at, apparently, because, I mean, it's 70 at-bats and you haven't had a walk. You know, pitchers just lose the strike zone out there sometimes and can't throw a strike, so you'd figure you'd have at least 1 or 2 walks. He doesn't have 1 base on balls in 70 at-bats now.
Well, he has been hit by a pitch.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you forgot about that one.
I forgot about that one. You're right.
And he had a sacrifice fly.
Okay. So not all outs.
Yeah.
Or hits. Okay.
So 70 at-bats, but 72 plate appearances.
72 plate appearances.
It's actually even worse.
Even worse.
72 plate appearances without a walk.
And I remember last year, the first time we broadcast the game, he didn't have a walk at that point.
No, he went like 130 plate appearances before he got one. McCann got jammed in that one. Caught by Vidro, an 8-pitch inning for Armas. Ryan Church coming up, then Royce Clayton, 1-0 Washington.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough.
Let us observe my client after eating a spicy chicken burrito. I was full. And what were you full of? Great taste, fullness, and great taste from a value menu. I do believe I rest my case.
Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu featuring the spicy chicken burrito with shredded chicken simmered in Mexican spices to keep your stomach and your wallet full. Nothing outside the bun.
At what point does a car do more than take you from point A to point B? When does it come to life? When does it become your co-conspirator? When does a car become more than just a car?
Introducing the all-new 268 horsepower Toyota Camry. It's time to move forward.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
It's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan, our 17th season in the Sunday Night Baseball booth, along with Peter Gammons here with us tonight. And we're very happy to have you join us as well as we get a look at the Washington Nationals in their second season. What do you think, Joe? I read somewhere this week, maybe at ESPN.com, that could be sometime this week that the new ownership group will be announced.
I think I read that last week, too.
Well, that was last week, yeah. You're right. I read that one, too. I've been reading that every week, probably, since about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, but the last time I spoke to the commissioner, he said it was going to be soon.
And when was that?
Last week. It was last week.
You speak to him pretty much every week, don't you?
That was last week.
1 ball, no strikes to count to Ryan Church. Church was a guy who played a lot last year for the Nationals, like one of the incumbents when he went to spring training. He had a very bad spring, and they sent him to the minor leagues. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a changeup from John Thomson. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Anyway, they brought him up, and he got hot, and pretty recently. You know, but just a few days ago, he had a stretch where he had 4 homers in 3 games. Ryan Church hitting 280 overall. He's got 4 homers, 9 RBIs. He's only had 25 big league at-bats this year. That one goes out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ryan Church. Royce Clayton, the veteran shortstop, on deck, and then Brian Schneider, the catcher, due up 3rd of the inning. There's Royce. One to nothing. The Nationals are leading on the long double by Jose Guillen. Ooh, that was a wicked-looking pitch. Strike 3. Andrew Jones, on his birthday, spent some time chatting with Joe Morgan before the ball game.
I read where your dad is the one that told you to play shallow. Told you to. Can you actually see the signs from center field? That's what your dad said to do.
Well, I mean, he coached me quite a few times. You know, my last few years in amateur baseball in Curacao, I was a catcher first, so I catch, and then my last few years in amateur baseball, I moved to the outfield. He ended up being my coach, and he actually didn't want me to play because he wanted the older guys to play because they was moving up to a different level. So I was on the bench, but you know, somebody got hurt and I got in, and after that I would just start playing every day. So you know, he was an outfield too. He played all the position, but he was really aggressive out there, and you know, I learned a lot from him.
Yeah, I think that was interesting because, you know, I had never heard that before, but he said his dad told him to play shallow and be aggressive. His dad told him to watch the signs from the catcher so he could get a better jump. And he said even react on foul balls, you know, try to get a jump on foul balls, even though they're going out of play, and that will help you to start getting a great jump. And we all know that he does get a great jump. So, you know, a lot of times things like that do happen where your dad or, you know, a coach with you when you're very young may instill something in you that works for you when you get to the big leagues.
So, and you think that he can see, really can see us?
Well, I asked him that. He didn't answer that one because I'm wondering how he could see all the way from center field. But I know talking to Willie Mays once, Mays said he always saw the sign. I think what he can probably see is location. You know, they'll give you a sign and then they move in or out with their hand, and you can see that from center field.
1 strike to count to Brian Schneider, the runner going. McCann's throw, tagged by Betemit, got him. Nice throw by McCann. Royce Clayton caught trying to steal. 2 down.
Well, the question is, was that a hit and run or just a straight steal? And the way you can tell is whether Royce Clayton looks back or not. Looks like it's pretty much a straight steal right there.
Well, if it was supposed to be a hit and run, somebody missed a sign. 2 down, nobody on from the windup, Thomson. And a slider low and inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitcher, Armas, due up next. I mean, is that a kind of an unusual time for that kind of a play with only 1 out? Because you'd like to get the pitcher up, right?
Well, I was wondering if it was a hit and run or what. You know, like I said, but it doesn't appear to be a hit and run. He looked like he was just trying to steal the base, but you're right. One of the problems with hitting low in the lineup is that you have to change your approach to the game sometimes.
And Clayton had not had a steal or even a steal attempt this year, which is not to say he didn't have the speed to do it. I mean, he's stolen a lot of bases over the years.
But a lot of times when you hit lower in the order, you can't steal because the pitcher's up next, or you want to make sure the pitcher does come to bat in that inning.
In other words, you hate to have the pitcher leading off an inning.
Yeah.
Better to have him be the last hit of an inning than to lead off the next inning. Well, he's going to get a chance to come up as Thomson walks Schneider. That's why when you're an 8th-base hitter, they like to have a guy who will take a walk.
Right.
And not be just hacking at everything that's thrown up there. Second walk allowed by John Thomson. See how sometimes I just start analyzing?
Yeah, and that's okay. If you've been around long, I think you've learned enough to be able to do that.
All right. And the next time a guy hits one deep, you just go ahead and start doing the play-by-play.
No, I haven't learned enough yet.
This is John Miller along with my journalist partner, Joe Morgan.
Yeah, right.
reporting on the action here from Washington, our nation's capital. You know, I was thinking while we were in town, we should go over to the White House and do a couple of reports from over there.
Well, we tried to get Kyle, the guy, brought us to the ballpark. They say try to get over there. Man, you can't get close to the White House anymore.
Well, I'm saying
you got to have a pass, a real big pass.
I'm saying let's get a press pass.
Okay.
We could report on the White House for like the ABC Evening News or something.
Oh, okay. I don't think they'll give us a press pass though.
I mean, you know the President Bush. You've known him since he was a kid, right?
Yeah, but I don't think I have his phone number. I don't have that red phone to the White House.
Back to the screen. Armas had a pretty good rip there. Maybe not quite like his dad.
No, not quite.
But I saw a little bit of his dad in that swing. That ball would have gone a long way if he had only hit it. 1-2 the count. From Puerto Piritu, Venezuela. And a slider in the dirt outside.
It was interesting today, John. I think it was great to see the Washington Nationals. They honored Frank Robinson before the game with he had his 1,000th Major League win as a manager, and they honored him before the ball game today. And I thought it was great because Frank's one of those guys that you kind of have to push him out on the field, to be honored. He doesn't just walk out there quietly. So I think it was a great moment for him to have 1,000 wins.
Well, I think the way they did it was they had all the other players go out with him.
Yeah.
So they all shared it together the moment before the game. 1-0 Washington. We're moving on to the third. Atlanta coming up.
From DirecTV, over 1,600 games of Major League action. Thanks up to 60 games a week for a price you won't believe. We're talking every hit, every catch, every play. It's the most Major League Baseball you can get. MLB Extra Inning from DirecTV. To order, visit DirecTV.com or call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
Introducing the new 2006 Lincoln Zephyr. The country's imagination has officially been captured. Lincoln, reach higher.
This is Paul.
Guys on the house.
He backtests moving averages differently than Raj, who drags and drops nothing like Ann, who trades options a lot more often than Hal, who places conditional orders differently than George, who celebrates in his own special way. And thanks to Fidelity Active Trader Services, they all get power, price, service, no compromises.
Let's go.
Trading with Fidelity. Smart move.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Brought to you by the full line of 2006 Volvos, Volvo for life, and Fidelity Active Trader Services.
Sunday Night Baseball continues now from Washington. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Peter Gammon's here with us. The Nationals leading the Atlanta Braves 1-0 as we start the third. Martin Prado making his Major League debut from Maracay, Venezuela. Up because the regular second baseman, Marcus Giles, is hurting right now. The regular shortstop, Edgar Renteria, is hurting. Both of them still on the active list, though. And Chipper Jones, who's on the disabled list, the regular third baseman, they're hoping will be back on Tuesday. And Prado with a big swing and a miss at the Armas fastball, so it is 1-1. Now, as you know, football on ESPN will now be Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football this upcoming season has moved to ESPN. And moving into the booth, fresh from his triumphant success on the Daily Show on ESPN, pardon the interruption, Joe, as you and I know it, PTI, is Tony Kornheiser, and from there into the Monday Night Football booth. So welcome to Sunday Night Baseball.
No, it's great. I mean, I've never been in a booth before, so I'm breaking in now. I feel that this is my debut, and the critics can have at me.
Nice play by Johnson. Armas covering, and Prado's first Major League hit is taken away.
Well, this booth will be a little different than the one you're in on Monday night. Yeah. let's take a look here. Nice play by Nick Johnson, who has always been a pretty good glove guy at first base. Feeds Armas perfectly. And a good job by Armas to get over there. So you have to break right away, which he does. And that gives Nick Johnson an easy target at first base.
Now Joe, let Tony get a word in.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry, Tony. We got a three-man booth. I'm not used to that. But
no, that's okay, because this is not football. I don't have to know anything about this. And I've got 6 months, I think, to study up on football and know something about that.
Yeah, right. Well, I know from being a guest on your radio show over the years, you do know something about football.
Thank you.
All right.
Did we talk about football or was it baseball?
We talked about everything, sports in general. And athletes are pretty similar.
Yeah. Except that the ones in football weigh 700 pounds.
I mean, I've heard the radio show. I've heard you on the PTI. And you know a lot about just about everything from what I could tell.
Well, I try to know everything about everything. You know? And then that way, when I make 4 or 5 mistakes at a time, I can find something I know later in the show and I'll be okay.
Well, what is Wilbon going to do when you have to leave, you know?
Well, Wilbon's going to be my driver.
Oh.
So
I saw him, actually, he was on today doing the basketball.
He does a basketball show.
Right, he was on the basketball today.
At the moment, we're both branching out, and then ultimately it'll be a reunion like the Beatles in 15 years.
And one of your new partners on Monday Night Football is
Joe Theismann, yes,
honored
I saw his
here,
name.
the Washington Hall of Stars.
And I saw Mike Tirico today as well. So everybody's working today.
We're absolutely everywhere today.
Now they put Theismann above Billy Kilmer. Do you agree with that?
I don't think Billy does. Well, Theismann's got the Super Bowl ring.
Well,
okay. Billy didn't have that.
That works.
All right, so Monday Night Football, and you get started, is it the first Monday in September?
Well, that's the beginning of the regular season games, and we've got 4 games before that, and so maybe by the first regular season game, I will know what I'm doing.
All right. So September 11th, I'm told, will be the debut night.
It's in Washington. Well, it's at Atlanta.
Well, I mean, I can see there in Washington, but I'm excited about that one.
About the Oakland one?
Yeah, the Oakland game. I'll be at that game.
You can roll out of bed and get to that one.
Yeah, I'll be at that game.
John Thomson down on strikes. 2 men gone. And now the leadoff man, Pete Orr, will come up.
Have you told the people that you made me sit on press guides because the seat you gave me is so small and I look like a munchkin here?
Well, we don't have 3 seats in the booth. We're a 2-man booth, see? So we didn't have a place for you. We had to make a place for you.
We had to find a folding chair. A card game was going on 3 booths down.
I'd have brought my own chair if I knew I'd be treated this way.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll let you come back and you can bring your own chair.
So we were looking for something to, kind of prop them up a little bit. I gave them your press guides, Joe. You never use them.
I don't use them. You're right.
The 2 down, nobody out. Pete Orr, the hitter, and that's in there for a strike. So the booth.
I just thank God that there wasn't a tray of hamburgers here. I'd be sitting on those.
I must admit now, I read a couple of things where you said you're a little nervous, about this because you've never been in a booth.
Right.
But, you're speaking to millions of people on your radio show. You write a column that's read by, hopefully a million.
Hopefully.
Millions. But, I mean, the point is, why would you be nervous?
Well, because they can't see me on radio. So that when I walk out in the street, they don't actually know who I am in case I had a bad game.
Okay.
And that's the beauty of radio. And then people tell me that I've got a face for radio.
Well, there are a lot of guys who have those, but we won't get into that.
But, it's got to be exciting. Monday Night Football.
Tremendously exciting, John. Tremendously.
And that is the out at first as Clayton throws out Pete Orr. 3 up and 3 down. 3 strong innings from Tony Armas. It is 1-0 Washington. Top of the order. Alfonso Soriano coming back when we return.
Introducing the unusually spacious Kia Optima. Now that's big. Right now, get a special introductory offer on the all-new Kia Optima.
Over the past 60 years, the people at Lowe's have brought heart, soul, and dedication, not only to the store, but to the community. by helping support groups like Habitat for Humanity. Lowe's, let's build something together.
The new XLP is our biggest, most extreme pizza for guys who want to go big.
Hey, Domino's guy, check this out. Oh, whoa. Did you see that? Couple of feet. Yeah. Hey, hand over that XLP, bro. Here you go.
You want to rip it up? I'm good.
Have a good one.
30% more extra largeness than our large. Get a one-topping XLP for a small $9.99. It's the new XLP from Domino's.
Somewhere between two highways, there was a really good station. Somewhere between breakfast and lunch, there was a roadblock. Somewhere between the kids and the grandkids, there was a second childhood. And somewhere between where you are and where you're going, there's a Super 8. See you along the way. Get more rewards with Trip Rewards at Super 8.
Super 8 is a proud member of Trip Rewards. Sign up now at super8.com.
Playoffs continue Friday at 8 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Here come the Nats in the last of the third inning against the Braves, John Thomson, and there's a called strike to leadoff man Alfonso Soriano. He'll be followed by Vidro, and then Johnson, all three hot hitters for the Nationals, who lead 1-0. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Peter Gammons is here, and also that ball is driven down the right field line, off into the corner, and there is Francoeur for out number 1. One away. We've been joined by Tony Kornheiser of PTI, pardon the interruption, on ESPN, but also joining the booth for ESPN Monday Night Football starting this September. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. A little bit daunting, but it's I'm eager to do it.
All right, so, and Joe was mentioning you're sort of like, so you're a football guy in that regard now, but I mean, you still kind of know what's going on in the news, the sports news here in Washington. For instance, what about ownership of the baseball team?
Well, I think that the way it is broken down recently, there's a new leader in the clubhouse. I think at one point it was the Malik Zions group that had been involved and active in bringing a team here for years. But lately it looks like Ted Lerner and the Lerner group, especially when they added Stan Kasten, they appear to be the front runners now. And it's almost as if this deal had been brokered in the pages of the Washington Post, because each day there'd be a story what that group needed to do, and within 48 hours it seems the group responded and there's a checklist. It seems they're checking off all the categories.
Well, the only thing, I looked at Jeff Smulyan's group, and they said they have 25% African-American equity in their ownership group. And I think that should be part of the criteria, is having some minority.
Just the other day, the Lerner group added 2 prominent Washingtonians.
Yeah, just the other day.
Well, that's again what I'm saying. I think that there's something that goes out there where baseball is saying, here's what we want from each group, and then it's a race to see who does it first and who does it best.
So, in other words, it's being said in the Washington Post, and then in 48 hours, each group is...
Yeah, it's like both sides are speaking to each other through these articles almost. It's very odd. But since I work for the Washington Post as well, it's good for us. You know?
Now, and you're not writing as much for the Washington Post as you used to.
I'm writing as often, but they're real small. Right. You can read them in 10 seconds and memorize them, and it's very easy that way.
Well, and so you're too big to have to write a full column all 3 or 4 times a week.
I don't think in full columns anymore. I think a couple of jokes and let's go.
Nick Johnson down on strikes. A very quick inning, a 7-pitch inning for Thompson. It is 1-0 Washington.
There's a better way to mow that's a cut above anything else out there. And that's why more landscape professionals trust the zero-turn technology of an Exmark Laser Z. Now you can mow like a pro with this industry-leading, easy-to-operate mowing system. You'll finish mowing in about half the time. And when you're done, the beautifully manicured results will be the envy of the neighborhood. So come on, go pro with the last mower you'll ever need to buy. An Exmark Laser Z.
Dell Media Center PCs let you enjoy and share your digital photos. Download pictures from your digital camera. View or play them as a slideshow. Print and share with family and friends, all at the touch of a button. Create and enjoy your memories with a Dimension E310 with Windows XP Media Center Edition, a 17-inch flat panel monitor, and free shipping and handling for just $549. It's more than a picture-perfect PC. It's a Dell.
Steve Smith is not a small man. Just 5'9", 185, he is small by football standards. After 2 stellar years at the University of Utah, the scouts still thought he was too small to be an NFL star, allowing him to slide all the way to the 3rd round of the 2001 draft, the 11th receiver selected. But Steve didn't care. First time he touched the ball, he took it 93 yards for a touchdown. He proceeded to make the Pro Bowl as a rookie, become a starter in his 2nd year, and go for 1,100 receiving yards in his 3rd. After losing the season to a broken leg, he exploded to lead the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. Steve Smith is definitely not too small.
The draft matters. Go deep. The NFL Draft, presented by Coors Light, begins Saturday at noon on ESPN.
Introducing the all-new 2007 Chevy Tahoe, with available features like a power remote liftgate, power release fold and tumble second row seats, and rear view camera system. Chevy Tahoe, an American revolution.
RFK Stadium in Washington. The Braves coming up here in the 4th inning, trailing 1-0 to the Washington Nationals. Betemit, Langerhans, and then Andrew Jones coming up. John Miller, Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons here with you, and Tony Kornheiser, who has, or will be, I mean, officially he's already joined, but the first telecast of Monday Night Football on ESPN is September the 11th. And we'll see Tony in the booth for the first time on Monday night, starting at that date. And Tony, we're talking about, what about the ownership here with this Washington Ball Club? You talked about it looks like maybe the Lerner Group. Peter Gammons is downstairs with his input on that. Peter?
Well, I don't think it's as much of a slam dunk as people in Washington think it is, because the Lerners are from Washington. I mean, you just have to go back to the Boston sale, and they went out of town, and they brought in owners that they thought were more experienced in baseball. And while Sam Casson is very experienced, so is Jeff Smoolian. He's very popular with Jerry Reinsdorf. He is the Reinsdorf candidate. And I really believe that the fact that they have 25% of the ownership is African-American, and the fact that tomorrow they are going to announce that the club president will also be the first African-American to be a club president will help them immensely. Both sides, both of those groups think this will be done somewhere between Friday and the beginning of next week.
All right. So, Tony, do you want to get in on this? Do you want to argue with Peter at all?
Well, the only thing I would say is that for people living in Washington, as Peter would know, who have memories of 2 different ownership groups moving teams out of town, that they would be reluctant and somewhat fearful of having a majority owner who did not live in Washington, for fear for a 3rd time this team would move. Peter, that would be a legitimate concern, wouldn't it?
Well, except there's no place to go. I mean, Washington's a very different market now, and you know, I understand that concern because Washington has been so burned historically. But if you look, I mean, George Steinbrenner was from Cleveland, and John Henry is from Arkansas. You know, Bud Selig has just sort of maneuvered people around to who will fit the team and the situation and the marketing the best. And I think this is that he is really wrestling with this. I don't believe that this has ever been a slam dunk in Bud's mind. I think he's really agonized because I think he respects both groups tremendously.
I'm thinking maybe like a daily show, you and Peter Gammons and Michael Wilbon, and you guys could argue about all these things.
As long as Peter sits in the stands, that's a great idea.
Right, you and Wilbon in the studio. Peter,
absolutely.
Sitting down behind home plate.
We get the catering, and Peter's in the stands.
And well, Peter would probably go for that himself. There's Peter. You got the best seat in the house.
And don't forget, the Braves are up for sale, and they may be sold in the next month or 2 as well.
That's AOL Time Warner has offered the Braves for sale. So my head is just spinning right now. But you're...
Well, I think Wilbon and I could buy it.
Where else are you going to put a ball club if they're going to move? Because you can't put it in Minneapolis, right? And you can't put it in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Arlington, Texas.
But if you're baseball, you always need to keep one good, viable city open so that people can protect their own markets by threatening to move there.
And for a while, it's been Washington.
Yes, and now that's taken. Yeah.
That's a very good point, though. I think that's very important. You know, Reggie Jackson was trying to get a team to move to Vegas. That hasn't worked. A lot of teams, people are talking about Vegas and other places. So there are, you know, a couple of places I guess you could go.
And that's really bodes well for you, I feel, in the booth on Monday Night Football. And easily out at second base. And that is a double play just in front of Andrew Jones. Betemit caught trying to steal as Langerhans goes down. But Joe actually said to you, that's a good point, Tony. That's well done. First time that's ever happened in this book.
Joe was a radio guest with me for years. I paid him very well to prop up my career.
Excellent pitch, good pitch to throw on a pitch away from the left-handed hitter. You see he doesn't have to throw through him. Pitches outside, just turn and fires a strike. Nice throw there. Snyder made a perfect throw to second base.
And now Andrew Jones, the mighty cut, and he didn't get it. Well, we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Monday Night Football starting September the 11th. Now, who are the booth mates? I mean, we saw it.
Mike Tirico handle play-by-play. Joe Theismann will give expert analysis, and I will make a couple of jokes here and there. And then I'll do some dancing, and Susie Palber and Michelle Tafoya will be on the sidelines.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Congratulations, and congratulations on the continued success with the show PTI on ESPN. Monday through Friday.
We will send you a T-shirt and a hat. Thanks to both of you for having me.
Make sure they show a lot of Michelle and Susie, and
more than
everything
us.
will be all right.
More than me.
Yeah,
Nobody needs to see
right.
this head I've got.
Over at shortstop, that's Tony Kornheiser, who's been with us here on Sunday Night Baseball. Andrew Jones thrown out by Royce Clayton. We're going to the last of the fourth inning. Jose Guillen coming up for Washington. The Nats lead 1-0.
When the going gets tough, the tough trade up to a dependable, long-lasting Chevy truck. Silverado goes head-to-head with more standard horsepower and torque and better fuel economy than Ford F-150.
Use $1,500 down payment assistance to get this 2006 Chevy Silverado half-ton for $22,490 after all offers.
Hey, tough guy, get going. Go to Edmunds.com and compare Chevy head-to-head.
See your local Chevy dealer.
Has reported earnings 30% higher than expected.
Also ending higher yesterday, the Walker family at 12 1/4.
Think about your family and yourself as a company with assets to protect and grow, a financial future to be managed.
So what do you think about the Burns family? Positive cash flow and a conservative balance sheet.
And so you have to plan, chart a course. At John Hancock, we now offer a wider range of innovative investment opportunities, giving you access to some of the world's best companies.
The Martin family is so young.
The Martin family has opened for trading in Hong Kong.
For the benefit of the most important one.
And finally, the Peterson family ended the day on a positive note.
The new John Hancock. Investments for the opportunities. Insurance for the unexpected.
How can working with the right financial advisor answer the question, will I be able to?
Will I be able to send my daughter to grad school?
Leave an estate for my kids.
Take a Mediterranean cruise?
Will I be able to build a cabin in the mountains?
Will I be able to retire without being a burden?
At Wachovia Securities, our financial advisors start with your life and plan your money around it. Talk to us. Watch for the Wachovia Championship.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, our 17th season on ESPN every Sunday, 8 Eastern. John Miller, Joe Morgan, along with Peter Gammons. 1-0. Washington leading Atlanta here in the last of the fourth inning. An abbreviated two-game series this has turned into because of a rainout last night. The Nationals are trying to complete a sweep after they beat Atlanta as Jose Guillen, who drove one into the wide open spaces in very deep right center for an RBI double. That's the only run of the game. That was in the first inning. A ball, likely a home run in just about any other ballpark. So the count from John Thomson now is 2 balls and no strikes. It'll be Ryan Zimmerman, the rookie, and then Ryan Church, the next 2 hitters due up. And that is out number 1 as Wilson Betemit, filling in for Edgar Renteria, throws out Jose Guillen. Here's Ryan Zimmerman now, the rookie, 21 years old, and he made a very fine defensive play here on Friday night, Joe, against the Braves.
And it definitely saved the run. You'll see the runner come around third base. He would have scored right there. Beautiful diving catch. There's a runner coming around third. He would have scored. Wow. You don't see that too often from a third baseman.
The one, though, that's my favorite on a ball like that,
David Wright,
where he caught it barehanded.
Yeah. Now, those are actually the only two that I've seen under those circumstances.
And that is a base hit. A little bloop off the end of the bat into right field for Zimmerman, who struck out his first time. Well, he needed one like that. He's been struggling with the stick here lately.
Well, he threw him a lot of breaking balls the first time up, and it looks like he tried to sneak a fastball away. Yep. And Zimmerman just fights it off to the right side, does a good job of not trying to pull it. I don't know if he could have anyway, but that's called a base knock, going the other way.
Zimmerman, you know, the Braves have these guys like Francoeur, young guys who are from either Atlanta or the Atlanta area. Francoeur's right from Atlanta. Zimmerman went to the University of Virginia, just about 120 miles from RFK Stadium. I'm counting that. That's close enough.
Okay.
Ryan Church, the hitter, and ball one. Peter Gammons is downstairs with a microphone. Peter, what's up?
Well, it's just interesting. You mentioned David Wright. Well, Ryan Zimmerman grew up with David Wright. They played on the same AAU teams along with B.J. Upton. And, you know, he's saying it's amazing. A year ago, he was actually playing at the University of Virginia, and now he's here. Joe mentioned the diet of breaking balls. He said that is the biggest change. Early on, when he came up in September, fastballs. Now it's all breaking balls. He has to learn to look for the fastball and hit it when he gets it.
Well, that ball was hit well by Ryan Church down the left field line, and he's got a double, beating the throw-in from Longerhans. Zimmerman stopping at third. So a couple of guys going opposite field here for base hits in succession against Thomson.
Well, I think most of them were looking for something else. They got a fastball away, and they went the other way, and that's the one thing Frank Robinson said. This pitch is away, sits a fastball away, goes the other way, and that's exactly what Zimmerman did. Only he didn't hit it down the line. Church hits his down the line, and with his speed, he's able to get to second base before Longerhan's throw comes in.
Longerhan's did a pretty good job getting to it. They're going to walk Clayton intentionally with the left-handed batter, Schneider, albeit a left-handed batter who's not hitting well right now. This will also set up the ground ball double play possibility.
Well, not only that, I mean, you're trying to get to the pitcher. If he can get Snyder out, well, then you have the pitcher on deck. So
it sets up the double play. It sets up a four-sided home plate in case the ball's not hit that well.
Right, and Clayton also had a base hit his first time up. So
Clayton gets the walk, and now the bases are loaded for Brian Snyder, and of course he would be very eager to foil this Bobby Cox strategy with a well-placed base hit out there somewhere.
And what you have to do as a hitter in this situation, especially one that doesn't run that well, and you're not hitting well, you have to think, I need to get a pitch where? Which pitch do I hit in the air best? You know, a lot of people say, well, a pitch up I might hit there. That's not necessarily so, because some guys might come over the top of it and hit the ground ball. And some guys have a slight uppercut, so the low ball they will hit in the air. So you have to know that yourself and decide which ball can I get in the air and look for the ball in that location.
Well, Thompson's usually got a pretty good sinker.
Yeah, excellent sinker.
He's very reliable at getting a ground ball.
That's why you have to make up your mind and say, I'm not going to swing the ball if it starts thigh, high, and below. So you have to make sure you get the ball up if that's what you're trying to do.
The infield double play depth. One out, three men on. In the dirt. Dug out by McCann. Bruce Fleming will toss that baseball out of play. 1 ball and no strikes. Schneider has had 54 at bats this year and only 4 runs batted in. His average is only .204. He was a member of Team USA in the World Baseball Classic.
But you have to be patient if you're the hitter. Make him get the ball up. Got it down.
It's not hit real hard, but he's a catcher, remember. There's one. And Pardo to first. Did he come off the bag? He did, but he got back in time for the double play. Royce Clayton trying to wreak some mayhem on Martin Prado, the rookie at second base, but they got it done. Frank Robinson, the great Hall of Famer, the manager of the Nationals, he'll be visiting with us from the Washington dugout when we return. 1-0 Nats.
Realm of mid-size sedans, there's a safe choice. It's the new Hyundai Sonata. During the Hyundai Challenge, we invite you to test drive the sedan that beats Honda Accord with more standard safety features and more interior space. And for a short time, you can get the amazing new Hyundai Sonata with $2,000 cash back. With Sonata, you even get a safety net. America's best warranty. The Hyundai Challenge is on. Hurry, ends May 1st.
Dude, we are so stoked. What hell aboard it, dude? Let's rock, dude.
10-4.
Hey, dude, I think that dude wants you.
Well, that's just the pilot.
Dude, not the pilot?
No. I've never done this before. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
We're at RFK Stadium, Washington. Last Monday was the 50th anniversary of Frank Robinson's first game of a great Hall of Fame Major League career. Then on Thursday, he managed his 1,000th victory. And Frank Robinson is in the dugout, and we are very pleased to welcome Frank Robinson to Sunday Night Baseball. Frank, many thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, John.
Frank, when you took over as the manager, did you think you would get to 1,000 wins?
No, Joe, I didn't even think about that. It was supposed to be for 1 year, and I was quite a ways away, and I didn't even ever dream that I'd get there.
Well, we've looked at this ball club this year. Last year you had problems scoring runs, great pitching. Now you're scoring runs. What happened to the pitching?
Well, the offense is better this year. We added a couple of new guys, and the experience of the other guys, and the pitching is not quite up to what it was last year. We lost a couple of guys.
You know, we talked to you earlier. You were telling me about how pleased you are with the effort from Soriano.
Oh, absolutely. He's worked hard out there, and he's really improved, and he's doing a good job out there. He's going to get better.
All right. Frank, we're going to let you get back to work, but again, many thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, Frank Robinson live from the dugout. And here's a swinging strike one by Adam LaRoche, the fifth-place hitter for Atlanta, facing Tony Armas here in the fifth inning with the Nats holding a 1-0 lead. Armas has a 2-hit shutout going right now. Adam LaRoche fouled out to third his first time. And quickly is down on the count 0-2. We got a couple pitchers been strike-throwing machines here most of the night.
That's why we have a low score. If you do not walk a lot of guys, you're going to be able, well,
that ball is hit well. Right field, Guillen going back. Oh, he's got it. He's a little off balance there, but he caught it and hit the padded wall out there for the out.
You know, you mentioned Frank, you know, that 50th anniversary is his game. Well, he also won a Triple Crown. He's the only player to ever win 2 MVPs, one in each league. And this is the pregame ceremonies we were talking about. And they were showing highlights of Frank while his players were out on the field.
So Frank, and of course to win ball games as a manager, you have to have players who have the ability to go out and win. As that one drills Jeff Francoeur. He has not had a walk in 70 official at-bats this year. 73 plate appearances, but that's the second time he's been hit by a pitch. That one really got him.
Yeah, that ball really got away from Armas because he was trying to go inside, and it tailed way inside. And watch, Francoeur doesn't fall back. He's sliding in. He's diving in a little bit, and you can't get back out. If you dive in, you can't get back out. And he gets hit on the left arm.
And you see Armas' reaction to it. Clearly that one got away from him. Here's Brian McCann. That one is a solid base hit to right field. Well, the two guys who swung the bat in this inning have hit the ball real hard. And in between that, Francoeur got hit by a pitch. LaRoche hit that deep fly ball to right. So they see the ball pretty well here right now against Tony Armas. The batter will be Martin Prado, the rookie. Armas, who's had just a whole career of arm miseries, and he's never really had a full season in the rotation either for the Expos or now the Nationals. That's a high foul out of play. I mean, he's had rotator cuff problems. He's had surgery for tears in his labrum and rotator cuff, and he's been on the disabled list time after time after time. Look at that, 5 times in 2003. He missed 5 starts. One strike to count. And the count now 1 ball, 1 strike. He had to go on the disabled list last September because of inflammation in his right shoulder, missed the rest of the year, and then had some arthroscopic surgery on that shoulder in late September. Ooh. Now that was measured at 90 miles an hour on our radar gun, Joe, but the way the ball was swung at there looked like it was about 98.
Yeah, well, it's up in the zone, up and out of the zone, and he goes after it. And when it's that high, it does appear to be a little faster than it really is.
K-Zone read that one at 92 miles an hour. 1-2 the count. And the slider low and outside. Armas was originally drafted by the Yankees. And he wanted to be a Yankee. But his mom, who graduated from college, wanted him to continue in school. He was only 16 years old. His dad, the big leaguer, Tony Armas Sr., said that Tony Jr. was going to have to make the decision himself. And he held out for a bonus plus money for college. And it turned into one of the biggest bonuses anybody got when you added them both together at that time. Then they traded him later on to the Red Sox. And then the Red Sox traded him to the Expos as part of the deal that brought Pedro Martinez to Boston in November of 1997. Hello. And the ball's going all over the place right now.
Well, I mean, you can see the difference there, though, John. And we saw that Francoeur was diving in and couldn't get out of the way. Prado was able to get out of the way because he wasn't diving in.
Martin Prado. His major league debut, and he gets a walk. And now the bases are loaded.
And you're right. I mean, he's lost the strike zone completely.
I mean, that's his first walk, coming 2 batters after his first hit batsman. I mean, he's just been throwing strikes, and in most innings he's made it look easy. So they're conferencing out there about it now with the pitching coach Randy St. Clair and the catcher Schneider with Tony Armas. Major League Baseball continues Monday on ESPN as the Florida Marlins take on the Cubs. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. That game will be available in high definition on ESPN HD.
If you were talking that.
Here's John Thomson, bases loaded, middle infield back, double play depth, and the count is 0-1. You ever think, Joe, sometimes in a spot like this where a double play would end the inning, you got a pitcher up there, as a manager, you just like to tell him, don't hit it.
Don't swing?
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of cases, I mean, I've heard managers tell them, with no one out, they'll tell them not to swing. But with one out, I don't think they would because, you know, obviously that makes it 2 outs, and then you take a base hit.
And Thomson, actually, you would never tell him really not to swing because he actually hits.
Yeah.
He knows how to hit up there. He's had 3 hits in 7 at-bats this year and 3 runs batted in. Bases loaded, 1 out. Thomson trying to help his own cause here. Francoeur, McCann, and Prado, the base runners. I just had a thought, Joe. Count goes to 2-1. Can you imagine a couple years ago doing a Braves game and saying the base runners are Francoeur, McCann, and Prado?
And the pitcher hitting is Thomson.
Yeah. 2-1 the count with 1 out. A great threat here for the Braves. Leadoff man Pete Orr on deck. That will go out of play. Thomson has hit well this year, and he's always been a good hitter. Had a quick look at his third base coach. Here's Brian Jordan. We know he can hit. But it's Thomson now trying to get the big hit for the Braves. You've been shut out. That is in there. A slider at the knee, strike 3.
And that was a nice pitch because if you're Thomson, you cannot expect a breaking ball here because he's been so erratic this inning. You had to be looking fastball. Let's take a look at the Verizon K-Zone. And this is a breaking ball that just splits the middle of the plate. Perfect breaking ball. with 2 strikes, but Thomson again had to be thinking he's got to throw a fastball because he's been so erratic with the other pitches.
So 2 down, and here is Pete Orr. The base is still loaded.
Well, indirectly followed your lead. He just didn't swing and hit into a double play.
I was just kidding. Would have been for some other pitcher who doesn't know how to hit. Although even pitchers who can hit, you put a game situation in the line, that's a little different than a genuine hitter.
So they pitch you differently.
Backdoors in with a slider, miss it a little bit low, maybe off the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Thomson, by the way, a 191 lifetime average, which for pitchers is pretty good. But he's not the guy you'd want to have up there, I guess, with the bases loaded is the point. Here's the pitch. Back out of play. Because 191 is not a good average for a hitter.
Correct. Well, one of the things I'm noticing here is that Armas is putting a little more giddy up on his fastball here after he got in trouble. I mean, he's added a couple of miles per hour on the fastball. He's not locating it still, but he's throwing has a little more zip on it.
The crowd comes to his aid. 1-2. Bases loaded, 2 down. Along the right field line, and that's a foul ball.
And that was a good fastball in under the hands.
He jammed him.
Yeah, you can see he's checking his back, but watch the target. Target's inside. Fastball in. Actually in a better spot than he was calling for. It was up and in a little bit.
Pete Orr in the leadoff spot in the absence of Marcus Giles, the regular leadoff man. Of course, the guy who was the leadoff man for several years, Rafael Furcal, is now with the Dodgers. Giles moved into the leadoff spot this year. 1-2 the count. 3 men on, 2 men out. And again, he goes inside. That time, a little cut on that one. A little slide ball or cut. Fouled.
Slide piece.
Slide piece. Yeah. Well, that's an old phrase.
Yeah, well, Gary Matthews wouldn't be happy. Call it a slide ball.
All right, sorry, Sarge.
Yeah.
Armas battled in this inning. This will be his 22nd pitch of the inning. Armas has it, and the side is retired. The Braves leave them loaded. Armas will be coming up, and in 60 seconds we'll be visiting with that man, John Smoltz of the Atlanta Braves, from the dugout. 60 seconds.
It's late. You're hungry.
You're not, Karen. It's time for fourth meal. The late night meal. Between dinner and breakfast. Heard of the pyramid? Check out the square. All the tastes in a delicious fourth meal. Melty, crunchy, spicy, and grilled. The tastes are exciting. Only Taco Bell's got them. Everyone's a fourth mealer. How you doing? Some just don't know it yet. If it's not fourth meal, it's just food.
Get Major League Baseball for every team all season long, no matter where you are, on XM Satellite Radio. With radio starting at $49.99. Only on XM Satellite Radio. Listen large.
RFK Stadium, Washington, and we're very pleased to be joined now with the Nationals leading the Braves 1-0 by the great right-hander, the veteran of all of these Braves champions, 14 straight division titles, John Smoltz. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball, John.
Good to be with you guys.
Hey, John, for so many years, this was a pitching team. You know, John Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, etc. Now it's more of a hitting team, so to speak. Is this Andrew Jones' team now? I know it was Chipper Jones for a while, but have we turned the corner yet?
Yeah, it's still Jones's team, that's for sure. Andrew has been playing every day, and the last few years especially, you know, been turning up his game, and I think everybody expected this for a long time. The pressure was so great and the expectations are so high. I'm glad he had the year he had last year, but now everyone's going to expect him to do it every year. But he's a guy that plays every day. He saves you a lot of runs in the outfield, and of course he drives a lot in at the plate.
How about Leo Mazzoni? I know that Roger and you were talking today, and I got in your conversation, so you have a great rapport with him as well.
Yeah, well, you know, obviously when somebody stays here this long, and Leo's here 20-some years, he helped me a lot, changed my career from Detroit to here. But the team had changed quite a bit, you know, and the pitching staff had changed quite a bit. And I know a lot of people were making a big to-do about Leo leaving, and they should. And now he's going to try to help Baltimore change their mindset a little bit in a hitter's ballpark. But Roger adds a lot to the bullpen that is young and trying to be established and get rid of the naysayers here in our city. But he adds a lot because he's been in every position in the big leagues, and he can help them in any situation they come in the game.
Good.
John, your old running mate, Greg Maddox, won his 4th in a row. He got a .99 ERA. Do you have any insight? I mean, he's 40 years old, and all of a sudden he looks like he's was pitching 10 years ago, winning the Gold Glove or the Cy Young every year.
And I'll tell you what he's most happy about is the fact that people are checking the baseballs because he's got such great movement, puts it where he wants to. They got to think something's up. And, you know, Greg, there was retirement talk of really a lot in Chicago. They were kind of prompting him like maybe this is the time to hang it up. He had a great career, and obviously Greg enjoys doing what he's doing. He was a great pitcher wherever he's been, and he's obviously living up to that this year.
And Glavin's pitching pretty well, too, for the Mets, isn't he?
Yeah, Glav's made his changes that he needs to. Glav always figured out. He may go through a tough spell or even a few bad months, but he'll figure it out. That's what's won him 20 games like 6 or 7 times. And, you know, the team that behind him right now is really good, and he's going to win a lot of games.
Base hit for Soriano. Well, John, we appreciate you coming on. How many more years for you?
I'm going to look at it just with this year and one more and see what happens. I'm not going to... thankfully, I don't have to beg to play. If I could stay healthy, maybe a few more years, but right now I'm just trying to enjoy the last couple.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on with us, John.
Thanks, guys.
John Smoltz of the Atlanta Braves from the dugout. And I suppose it would have been impolite to ask him about Soriano. Soriano took him deep twice on Friday.
And speaking of Soriano, you know, I'm watching him, and I watched the 3 home runs he hit on replay. And he reminds me a lot of Hank Aaron with his hands, his upper body. He really kind of whips the bat through the hitting zone instead of like a lot of guys are swinging it. He kind of throws it and it whips through the zone very easily. And that reminds me of Hank Aaron. Watch how his hands take over. Watch this. This is a hand swing. Look at that. His hands just really go out and attack the ball. And that's kind of the way Hank Aaron did. He wasn't as big and strong as a lot of the home run hitters in his day, but Hank Aaron always had the quick hands and the strong hands, and he kind of whipped the bat through the ball, and that bat speed generated a lot of power.
Well, that's some pretty impressive company to be compared with.
Yeah, no, I said he was similar now. We're not comparing him. We're just saying he's similar, and he reminds me.
Well, you know, he reminds me more of Aaron now that he's playing the outfield. There he goes, and a foul. Because Aaron came up as a shortstop,
right? He was an infielder. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Soriano will go back to first. And Soriano can steal a bag. And he's been a 30-30 man, 30-40.
Yeah, I think
stole a lot of bases over the years.
I mean, he's the only second baseman to ever hit 30 home runs, steal 30 bases.
He's had 4 steals so far this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jose Vidro. There goes Soriano, and Vidro fouls that one away.
But I think Vidro's a very good guy to hit behind Soriano, who can steal bases because he can find a hole. He's a good hitter, and Soriano can continue on to third if he does get a base hit. He can go from first to third pretty easily on a ball to right field or left center. And Vidro kind of sprays the ball around.
Vidro, 0 for 2 tonight, is hit into a double play and flying out to shallow center. Soriano not running. Well, he picked the wrong pitch on not to run.
You know what's funny about that? If he would have been running, the catcher would have caught that. And the reason I say that is because he would have went out front to catch it. You go out in front, you know, to prepare yourself to throw. You wouldn't have let it, you know, come to you as he did there. But you don't want to move too quickly on the curveball when it's down because you may get the call from the umpire. But if the runner's going, you have to go. You have to move forward.
So it's 2-2 to Vidro now. Nick Johnson, another hot Washington hitter on deck. Soriano hanging at first, and there's a fastball too low. 3-2, so he's going now, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, knowing Frank Robinson as I do, he's going to put, you know, the running hit or hit and run on this position. There are a lot of managers, anytime the count goes 3-1, 3-2, they put the runner in motion to open up a hole. And I really like that. I like that idea.
3-2 the count. He's running. And ball 4. Soriano had a pretty good jump there, too. I mean, on first motion.
And make no mistake about it, I think Thomson gave a little bit of his concentration to Soriano at first base, and he ends up walking Vidro.
Now, the Nationals have had 6 hits in this game. We're only in the 5th inning. And Thomson just walked his 4th, which is amazing when you figure how few pitches he's actually thrown tonight. So they put 10 men on base against him in these first 5 innings, but have only 1 run. They have grounded into 2 double plays. Nick Johnson, he's the hot hitter amongst the hot hitters. A little bit high, apparently. 1 ball, no strikes. Bruce Fleming thought it was high. Johnson hit a double, passed the bag at first, in the first, and scored the only run of the game later on Guillen's double. Then he struck out in the 3rd.
And they play Johnson pretty much straight away everywhere, which tells you the type of hitter that he is. He hits to all fields.
And you get a look at it. 2 men on, 1 man out. That's a wave. So he's ahead of Thomson on 2 balls, no strikes. I mean, when you're a hitter in a spot like this, it's 2-0. I mean, you've got everything going your way, right?
Well,
at this point.
I mean, the good hitters know how to take advantage when they're ahead in the count. It doesn't mean you swing just because of the strike. You look for a ball in a certain zone.
Over the outside.
And that's what he did. He was looking for a ball middle in probably, and that ball was a good tailing fastball over the outside corner, so you can give him that.
All right, so it's a strike, but doesn't mean you should have swung it.
No, not 2-0. When you have him in trouble, you have to get a ball that you can drive. Now, with the count 2-1, you have less leeway to take pitches.
Soriano very fast at second. Vidro, the runner at first. Pickoff play. The shortstop, Betemit, takes the throw, but back to the bag safely is Soriano. 1-0, Washington in the 5th. And in the Atlanta bullpen, activity going now. Kenny Ray, the right-hander, getting ready. In his last start, he had 6 innings, allowing only 1 hit, did John Thomson. Had a 1-hit shutout, but was removed from the game after throwing only 74 pitches, which was unusual. Bobby Cox didn't say anything about it other than he really couldn't remember ever taking some guy out like that, but there was a school of thought that Thomson asked out of that game, whether he was fatigued or something was aching in particular. And nobody knows at this point, but his pitch count is getting up to almost the same level right now, so they got that bullpen going just in case. 72 pitches for the game for John Thomson. 2 men on, 1 man out. 2-1 the count. Off the outside. He tried to hit that spot again. Missed it. 3-1.
And I think this is an excellent at-bat by Nick Johnson. You know, he's trying to zero in, give him a pitch that he can handle. And now he's worked his way into a great situation. I mean, if this is not the pitch he wants, he can take that also, even if it's a strike.
That's foul off the left field line.
Well, it looked like a pretty good pitch to hit. He was just a little late on it.
3-2. All right, so you've got a very fast runner at second base. Vidro is not a base stealer. He's at first base. So are the runners going?
Well, I mean, I think he has a lot of confidence in Nick Johnson. It's up to whether he thinks Nick can put the ball in play. Because you're not going to steal third base in this situation. You're not trying to. It's easier to throw the runner out at third with a left-handed hitter up there because he has a straight shot. He doesn't have to throw around a batter or anything else. So, you know, it's a matter of whether Frank thinks that he can make contact here or not.
Nick Johnson did strike out his last time up there in the 3rd inning. He doubled in the 1st. Thomson looks back at Soriano. There they go. The throw to 3rd.
Great play by Soriano. Great speed because he had a free shot at him. The throw was a little high, but still, Soriano's speed got him in there.
A double steal. Soriano to third, Vigro to second as Johnson strikes out. And now Guillen is knocked in the only run of the game coming up.
Well, he got a good pitch to throw on. Everything was perfect, but his throw is high. And watch, he doesn't have to throw over anyone or around anyone, just high. But I still don't know if he would have gotten it because Soriano had a great jump at second base. And you can see clearly he is in there before the tag is applied.
Just steal of the year for Soriano. Meanwhile, they are walking Guillen intentionally. That's not unusual per se. You'd walk the cleanup hitter, but usually the number 5 hitter's a pretty tough hitter as well, but they're going for the rookie, the 21-year-old Zimmerman, rather than the veteran slugger, Guillen.
Well, Guillen is more experienced in driving in runs in these situations than Zimmerman is. You know, Zimmerman's still trying to gain his confidence in these types of situations. But the one thing you have to be aware of here is if Thomson struggles or misses and falls behind, then he's got to give in to Zimmerman. Whereas if he's pitching again and he fell behind, he wouldn't have to give in because he'd have first base open. But I happen to agree with this. I would have walked in too. If I was Bobby Cox, I would use the same strategy.
So Roger McDowell, the new Atlanta pitching coach, out to speak to John Thomson. With Zimmerman coming up, 2 men out. The bases are loaded. Roger McDowell had a very distinguished major league career.
Yeah.
And mostly as a relief pitcher. And at times a closer. Taking over for a guy who was sort of a legendary figure in Atlanta, Leo Mazzoni.
Yeah, he also threw a super sinker, we might add. Roger McDowell, he had a super sinker when he pitched.
So not just a sinker?
No, a super sinker.
So you mean nobody ever hit anything except the ground ball against him? All right, here's Zimmerman. That's a foul. That was not the sinker. That ball was up.
Well, but I think he doesn't want to fall behind a young guy because he knows he'll be sitting dead red and he may not miss the fastball. So he wanted to try to get ahead of him so he could, work on him, mix his pitches.
3 men on, 2 men out. Second inning in a row. Washington has had the bases loaded against Thomson. And down and away. The cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Gaylord Perry threw a super sinker as well. Just in case you were wondering.
I thought Gaylord called that the country sinker.
No, a super sinker. He may have called it country sinker. We called it a super sinker.
1-1 the count. And that's going to be out of play. Zimmerman single to right his last time. So wait a minute, you're saying that Roger McDowell threw the same kind of pitch that Gaylord threw?
I said he threw a super sinker.
Listen to me, Joe.
Okay.
Let me just remind you, you are under oath.
Oh, okay.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Zimmerman. Ooh, strike 3. That was a sinker with a super result for John Thomson. Zimmerman caught looking. The bases are left loaded. Still 1-0. Andrew Jones coming up third.
DirecTV is the ultimate way to experience NASCAR. Teams know it. Officials know it. Fans know it. This season, we're proud to be an official NASCAR sponsor. When it comes down to the finish, all eyes are on DirecTV. NASCAR, driven by DirecTV.
Hogwarts has been chosen to host the Tri-Wizard Tournament.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with movies that pop.
Everything's going to change, doesn't it?
It's the exclusive feature you've been waiting for. Order it and watch it when you want. Then stay tuned after the movie to see enhanced scenes filled with insider information and movie trivia. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire with movies that pop. Now available from DirecTV pay-per-view movies.
Need new tires? Get to the big Bridgestone rebate event.
for up to a $100 mail-in rebate on select Bridgestone tires, April 6th through May 6th. Only at your local participating Bridgestone and Firestone retailer. Wherever you see this Bridgestone sign.
It's simple. One family, one vehicle. The all-new 2007 Chevy Suburban. Every big family will want one. Suburban, an American revolution.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Brought to you by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. And Crestar. Visit Crestar.com and ask your doctor if Crestor is right for you.
And there's ball one to Wilson Betemit, leading things off here in the 6th inning for Atlanta. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons. Sunday Night Baseball from Washington. And Soriano. Well, look at that. Looks like he's been out there all his life. One away. Betemit is now 1 for 3.
John, you know, we were talking about this earlier. You know what's funny about this game? Very rarely has a guy that, you know, was an all-star at one position been asked to move to another without his consent. But also, you know, in football, you wouldn't take a linebacker and tell him to go play free safety. You know what I mean? But baseball, we take a second baseman and tell him to go play the outfield. Or we take an outfielder sometimes and tell him to come in and play first base. But baseball is probably the only sport like that. I don't think you'd ask Magic Johnson to go be Kareem, although he did it in one game, but you wouldn't ask him to do it all the time.
Big playoff game.
Yeah.
Langerhans hits one hard, but right to Vidro. And here comes Andrew Jones.
John, we were talking about Andrew and taking a look at his swing. You know, in 2004, he really struggled. I mean, he had 147 strikeouts. I mean, you know, and he said he needed to make a change. And we're just going to take a look at the difference in what his stance has made in his approach to hitting.
He's 0 for 2 in this game.
In fact, I'm watching him this time. He doesn't seem to be as spread out this at-bat as he was earlier. Well, there he goes. Now he's a little more spread out. First pitch he wasn't. I guess he was looking for a certain pitch. Let's take a quick look, and you'll see that in 04, he had a narrower stance, and watch all the head movement. See how far his head goes, moves from that point? When you do that, it also makes the ball speed up and gives you less time. That was another good breaking ball there from Armas, which is the way that they normally pitch him.
29 homers 2 years ago, 51 last year. Another breaking ball. Now, Clayton just got it. Andrew Jones against a longtime nemesis of his, Tony Armas Jr. 1-0 Washington after 5.5.
Think you know all there is to know about getting your cholesterol right? You may be wrong, because getting bad cholesterol down might be just part of the equation. You may also want to get your good cholesterol up. Even more surprising, this cholesterol medicine does both. Crestor. Crestor, along with diet, can lower bad cholesterol by up to 52%. But Crestor also raises your good cholesterol. Down with the bad, up with the good. Is Crestor right for you? That's between you and your doctor. Crestor is not for everyone, including people with liver disease and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you're taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of serious side effects. Down with the bad, up with the good. Talk to your doctor about Crestor.
If you're without prescription coverage and can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Who cried? I did.
Not me. It was a sad ending and everything. I didn't cry.
With your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment.
More like holding your quivering upper lip. Exactly.
I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why.
finishing projects can feel too big to tackle, but Minwax always makes it easy with rich wood stains and clear protective finishes. It's that simple. Minwax makes and keeps wood beautiful.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. John Miller, Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons here with you tonight. The Washington Nationals with a 1-0 lead. Ryan Church to lead off. You just saw Royce Clayton on the on-deck circle. And Brian Schneider to up third. This is one of those games that's getting a little nerve-wracking for the Nats because they've had some chances to lengthen that lead. And significantly so, but have not been able to do it. The only run of the game came in the first inning on consecutive doubles from Nick Johnson and Jose Guillen. But they had the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th and didn't score. And they ended up with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 5th and did not score. But before that, they had 2 men out and only 1 man out with their 3rd place hitter and their 4th place hitter due up, and they couldn't score. So some great chances for the Nationals and great chances with hitters they wanted up there in the last inning, but nary a run, still leading only 1-0. Church into left field. Langerhans, and that is out number 1. So you had me real interested there about Andrew Jones and the new approach, the new swing that he started with last year.
Well, when I talked to him, he talked about his stance, and here's 04. You see it's narrow here, doesn't have a wide stance, and see all the head movement goes forward, and you see how much movement there is. Now in 205, he decided to spread out a little bit more, which would keep him back a little bit more, and obviously it worked. He had 51 home runs, and this is where the stance that he has now, although I didn't think he was as wide the last at bat. And I guess that sometimes, you know, it floats in and out, depending on, I guess, on what he's looking for, but he has definitely decided, he and Terry Pendleton, the hitting instructor, that he swings better from a wide stance. But he also said that his dad had tried to get him to go back to a wide stance, you know, the last couple of years before that, and he didn't do it. And then last year he did go back to the wide stance.
Well, and oftentimes, you know, if the dad tells a kid to do something, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, I hear you. There's Terry Pendleton. He's the hitting instructor and former MVP, you know, the Atlanta Braves.
Well, plus, Andrew turned 29 today.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes when you get to be around 29, right, Dad says, why don't you do something? And you're thinking, you know, that is a good idea. That's foul off to the right.
And let's take a look at where he is now in his stance. You see how much wider it is. See that? Now watch, there'll be a little less head movement. He still has a little more head movement than you might like. But see that? I mean, it's not nearly as much. His balance is much better. And that's why he was able to handle more breaking balls this last year than he was years before. And I mean, he's always been a guy that would, you know, hit 29 home runs and so forth. But what happened was that stance allowed him to hit not only 29 mistakes, but obviously 22 other pitches that maybe not have been mistakes. And I think that's the difference.
Well, and the Braves and all of their fans certainly felt that what he did last year in a pennant race, as that's a base hit for Royce Clayton, his 2nd hit of the game. But in a pennant race, and with Chipper Jones missing for a big chunk of the season with an injury, and various injuries limiting some of their other stars and throwing a lot of youth, Andrew Jones hit 51 home runs and won a lot of ball games, sort of not surrounded by the other stars in that ball club. So for them, they would have been voting, you know, Albert Pujols notwithstanding, they would have been voting for Andrew Jones for the MVP.
Well, I think what the difference, John, is, you know, he had a 260-something batting average, whereas Albert Pujols hit well over 300. Derek Lee hit over 300. So when all things are equal, you have to go to the next step. You know, they were all great hitters, RBI men, etc., hit a lot of home runs. But the difference was the batting average, and that's where your Albert Pujols and the Derek Lees gave their teammates a chance to drive them in and added a little bit more. So I don't think there's any doubt of how valuable he was to the Braves last year under the circumstances that you mentioned. But you also have to look at a guy like Albert Pujols and Derek Lee and what they actually did during the regular season.
I mean, you could make a convincing argument that Andrew was an MVP last year, but you'd have a real difficult argument saying Albert Pujols wasn't.
Was not.
Yeah,
exactly.
Peter Gammon's downstairs.
Well, I think the argument can be made that you look at this point in his career at 29 years old with 309 home runs and 9 Gold Gloves. I mean, what would it take if he gets to 500 home runs, which is 8 years at 24 home runs a year? If he has 12 to 15 Gold Gloves, in my mind, there is no question that Andrew Jones is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Now you're in the Hall of Fame, and so is Peter.
But I don't comment on that.
I get to vote.
Yeah, I don't get to vote.
That's right. Yeah.
So if Peter wants to say that, he gets to say it with his vote as well. See?
That's right.
You know, that's good.
We're hearing from a voter.
Yeah. And that's even more important because he does get a vote.
So,
but no, I mean,
what do we care if you think he belongs in or not? You don't even get a vote.
I don't get a vote. But obviously, I think that if a guy puts up those types of numbers over a course of career, be a great outfielder as he has been, I mean, that's what the Hall of Fame is for. So,
And Joe, I think sometimes when you get 5 years removed when the vote comes, people sometimes forget about things like the great defense. And Andrew Jones is one of the great defensive center fielders of all time.
The throw to second, got him! What a tag by Wilson Betemit. The throw from McCann was wide, and he was in midair, off balance, saving the throw, and then applying a tag on Clayton, and he got him. Wow. That's a Hall of Fame tag right there.
Well, that was a great tag, but let's take a look here. Good job by Snyder trying to keep the catcher back. But a good tag, like you say, he just caught it and tagged all in one motion.
And meanwhile, John Thomson on the mound was ducking under the throw as the bat was heading for his feet. I'd like to see how he did that. Schneider, there's Betemit again, and that's the inning. So Washington has had 2 runners caught stealing now, and 2 wiped out on double play balls. So it goes for the Nats, although they lead.
May 1st is your last chance to save during the Lincoln Mercury Signature Sales Event. Sign your name and lease any Lincoln with 0 cash due, including the new Lincoln Zephyr, mid-size luxury with an interior cabin that's miles ahead of Cadillac and Mercedes. Drive Lincoln Zephyr now with 0 first month payment, 0 down payment, and 0 cash due for only $364 a month. Hurry, the Lincoln Mercury Signature Sales Event ends May 1st.
Successful investing. At T. Rowe Price, it's about more than just hitting home runs. It's about a consistent, steady approach, year after year. For each 1, 5, and 10-year period, over 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Veranda is a revolutionary material for decks and fences that resists warping, splintering, and rotting. It stands up to the most extreme conditions on Earth, so chances are it can handle your backyard. And Veranda never needs sealing, staining, or painting, which means you spend time enjoying your deck instead of working on it. Veranda, exclusively at the Home Depot.
I have a talent agent, but he doesn't always come through. Look at her, Miss Antarctica. Here she comes, what a gal.
Fortunately, my insurance agent always comes through.
John, I've compared companies, and the best deal for you is Drive Insurance.
Drive Insurance?
From Progressive. Only agents sell it.
Sounds good to me. Sushi for lunch, Sparky?
Drive Insurance is sold only through independent agents. To find one, go to driveinsurance.com and relax. Just drive.
Playoffs continue Friday at 8 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Back here with Sunday Night Baseball from Washington, D.C., RFK Stadium, the Atlanta Braves trailing 1-0 to Frank Robinson's Washington Nationals. And the Braves are coming up now with LaRoche, Francoeur, and McCann. 3 of their young players. LaRoche, who has fouled out and fly deep to right in this game. Fouled out to third his first time. He is 0 for 2. And Bruce Fleming signals a called strike. LaRoche, 4 homers, 11 runs batted in. But that average has been faltering lately. Tony Armas has, I mean, he's been excellent as he misses with a changeup. He's only allowed the Braves 4 base runners. And, or let's see, 5 base runners. 3 of those in the same inning, and he got through that one real stiff test back in the 5th. Otherwise, he's been kind of shutting down the Braves most of the night.
Well, he's been excellent, you know, except for that one inning, like you said. He got the ball up on occasion. He was a little more erratic, but he's been able to keep the ball down for the most part.
That fastball just misses. That was in the 5th inning, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds here in the 7th. And he retired the side in order in the 6th. Well, a leadoff walk. A leadoff walk here in the 7th. LaRoche takes first.
Let's take a look on the K-zone where he has been able to have his most success. I have 8 ground balls, and you'll see why a lot of these pitches are down. This is 5 of the ground balls. Look where they are. And not only are they down, but they're also strikes. I mean, look at that. They're right there on the edge of the plate. You know, a lot of times you get guys going out of the zone, you know, chasing pitches, hitting ground balls, but those were strikes. But you can see that he is struggling a little bit, and I don't know. And out comes St. Clair.
Randy St. Clair, the Washington pitching coach, heading to the mound again.
And it just looked to me like he may be, you know, he's struggling a little bit out there. And a lot of it has to be mental because he hasn't been pitching, you know, that much and for this long a period of time.
Mike Stanton, the veteran lefty, and Felix Rodriguez, the veteran right-hander, warming up in the Washington bullpen. They both were up, by the way, when the Nats were batting in the 6th inning with Armas due up after Schneider. But remember, Clayton got thrown out on a busted, what looked like a busted hit-run play, and then they never got to Armas. So Frank might have been about to pinch hit for Armas in the 6th inning with the bullpen working. But he may not stick with him long here, but it looks like he's really lost his stuff. He's facing the ultimate free-swinging young guy, Jeff Francoeur, right here.
Well, you know he's not going to walk him. You know that. So things are in his favor if he doesn't walk him and keeps the ball down.
The walk of LaRoche, only his 2nd walk of the night. Francoeur fouls one right back over our heads. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Let's take a look at our Lowe's home team advantage. Tony Armas on the road, no, but at home here at RFK, 5-2 since the start of the 2005 season. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Francoeur. Strike 3 call. Wow. Suddenly Francoeur decided to get patient, and he gets rung up. And he had a little question there for Bruce Fleming.
It was a high fastball. He had thrown a breaking ball away, and I think we're going to get a pitching change here as Frank Robinson comes out.
5th strikeout for Armas, and with the left-handed batting McCann coming up, Frank is going to the pen. So Armas, 6 1/3 strong innings. Stanton, the lefty, coming in.
Someday, you'll be able to deliver your data how and where you need it, along a secure local-to-global IP network. Someday, all your communications will work together through a wide range of IP solutions. Welcome to Verizon Business, where you'll get more than a network. You'll get the commitment of people who care about your business as much as you do. People who are accountable for making it all work for you. Someday is today. Verizon Business, where global capability comes together with personal accountability.
Dear God, a murder that hides a message. He did this in his own blood? A code only he can break. Demons, summons, codes, monks. A conspiracy that could course of mankind.
Witness the biggest cover-up in human history.
From director Ron Howard.
Y'all saying all this is real?
Real enough to kill for.
Tom Hanks. The Da Vinci Code. Rated PG-13.
Doug, which way did the swim meet?
I'm not sure.
Doug, do I turn left at the next street? Doug, where are the directions? Do you have the directions?
Did we have directions?
Doug, I think it was right at that street. Doug, did we just pass the pool?
To find the fastest route to any address, it's TomTom, not Doug. Just tap on the screen and a helpful voice guides you where you're going, stress-free. TomTom is your portable, everyday GPS solution.
Tony Armas, 6 1/3 innings of shutout ball against the Atlanta Braves tonight. But he leaves with only a 1-0 lead, and whether or not he gets a win will be decided by the bullpen. The bullpen was not able to hold the lead for John Patterson here on Friday night. Mike Stanton came out of the 8th inning and gave up the tying hit in the game to Wilson Betemit, although then Soriano and the Nats untied it in the last of the 8th, and Stanton actually ended up getting the win in that game. So here he is to face Brian McCann, young left-handed hitter, who, by the way, has had 2 hits in 5 at-bats versus Mike Stanton. A runner at first, 1 out in the 7th. Watch your team's out-of-market games live from anywhere. Live Major League Baseball right on your desktop or laptop at ESPN.com and search for MLB.TV. Sign up today.
I think something's going on. I don't know if it's the swollen center field or something.
There's a big banner that's been draped over the wall in part of the hitter's backdrop out there. So Bruce Fleming wants them to remove that banner.
John, while we have a moment here, I want to mention something on Thursday in Wilmington, North Carolina, where my great friend and Hall of Famer Willie Stargell lived before he passed away. They named a wing in his honor, in the dialysis wing at the hospital, because Willie passed away from kidney failure. And his foundation has done a lot for the Wilmington area and research there, so they named the wing after him. So that was done this weekend, this Thursday in Wilmington, North Carolina. I was trying to get there, but I couldn't. But you know, it was a great event for Willie and his family. Well,
there's trying to get that banner down as we see Armas numbers. No runs so far, though he's responsible for that runner at first base. But that banner out in center field apparently was distracting to Brian McCann, and so Bruce Fleming, the umpire's trying to get somebody to remove that out there. Beat St. John's. Go Nats. Send money. I don't know. Okay, we've seen it. Now take it down. Here's a look at the passion for excellence presented by Bridgestone Tires. Jason Giambi, a couple of home runs against the Orioles today in a Yankee win. Back to Randy Johnson. Greg Maddux, 4-0, .99 ERA, 7 shutout innings against the Cardinals. Albert Pujols and company. It's hard enough to just shut out Pujols, much less the whole Cardinal team these days. And then Brandon Phillips. How about this story? Brandon Phillips now with the Reds. Remember, he was the key player in a big deal between the Expos and the Cleveland Indians. Remember, they got Bartolo Colon, and it never worked out for him in Cleveland. And they got some other guys that worked out, but Brandon Phillips is just red hot with the Reds. And that's caught in center by Ryan Church. So McCann is gone on 1 pitch here. And now the right-handed batting rookie, Martin Prado, is coming up. And here comes Frank Robinson again.
Well, let's take a look at this pitch. Stanton comes in and does his job, the Verizon Business K-Zone. Good pitch on the outside corner, knee high. That's where you need to throw the pitch, and he does a good job, gets the fly ball.
Felix Rodriguez is going to come in now with Prado due up. A runner at first, 2 down in the 7th, 1-0 Washington. We'll be back.
Being a switch hitter, that's a rare commodity in this day and age. Growing up, I was a big Dodger fan. I would go out and imitate the lineup. Kenny Landreau came up, I had to hit left-handed. When Steve Garvey came up, I hit right-handed. And that's where I learned. I take great pride that the other team doesn't want to see me to the plate. They know that I'm going to be a tough out. I live for this.
Catch Major League Baseball all season long on ESPN. Don't miss it.
$30,000. Do I hear 40? $40,000. Do I hear 50? 50,000. I have 50,000. Going once, twice. Sold to the gentleman in the center. Moving on. This is a 19...
Okay. I want to go ahead and sell it now.
Sell what?
That thing I bought.
Constantly buying and selling stocks doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones recommends investment strategies that have proven themselves over the long term. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
At what point does a car become more than just glass, rubber, and steel? When does it become something you love? When does it become part of your family? At what point does a car become more than just a car? Introducing the all-new Toyota Camry for 2007. It's time to move forward.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Nationals 1, Atlanta nothing. Top of the 7th inning is Tony Armas, who pitched very well for 6 1/3. And Frank Robinson, I guess, Joe, must have figured that he was starting to lose it after the leadoff walk in this inning. He left him in there to strike out Francoeur, but with the lefty McCann coming up, he brought in Stanton. Now the right-handed hitting Prado, the rookie, in his major league debut tonight, is up, and Felix Rodriguez, who's been around a long time, came up originally as a catcher. Tommy Lasorda, he was a catcher for the Dodgers, and Lasorda always thought, you know, he's not that good a hitter. I think he could be a pitcher. And Lasorda actually used him out of the bullpen in an exhibition game, and the Dodgers converted him to a pitcher. And Rodriguez has ended up having a very long career as a big league pitcher. He's a hard thrower. He used to throw, I mean, exceedingly hard. 1 strike to count to Martin Prado. Oh, 2 down to Prado, he was robbed of a hit by Nick Johnson in his first major league at-bat back in the 3rd inning. And he walked in the 5th inning. He's from Maracay, Venezuela. And I asked him before the game who his favorite player was when he was a kid. You know, I expected, you know, maybe Omar Vizquel or Andres Galarraga. Somebody said Chipper Jones. Because he was a third baseman as a kid. And that's what Chipper played. 0-2 the count. Oh, nice save by Schneider. Quick reactions right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One of the things I learned today when I talked to Andrew Jones, John, is that, you know, I asked him about, you know, being compared to Willie Mays, and he said his favorite player was Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow.
You know, he said I always admired and loved Ken Griffey Jr.
Well, Griffey was a great center fielder with style who just went for everything. 1-2 the count. But Griffey, I mean, he maybe went for a few too many and hurt himself a few times. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, still the most breathtaking, unbelievable catch I ever saw made was Griffey on a ball hit by Kevin Bass at the Kingdom in Seattle. He caught it on the dead run, leaped in the air, and at full speed caught it, and at the same moment crashed into the wooden wall and broke his wrist. It was an unbelievable catch, but at a considerable price. And Griffey always just said, well, that's the only way I know how to do it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But Andrew Jones has been able to stay away from serious injury. There goes the runner. Schneider's throw. The tag by Clayton. Out! That's the second Braves runner thrown out at second by Brian Schneider. 1-0 Washington.
Got me chasing down and away last time.
We won't chase down and away again.
Turn on the inside. Inside corner's mine. Bear down.
Bear down.
Tipping the
Don't
pitch.
tip the pitch.
See the ball.
Get all over.
Arm
Gonna
slot.
take him up the ladder.
Turn on the
Think
pitch.
you can handle it? Catch up to it?
Give me that.
Here comes the heat.
Hit, pitch, and think like a pro with 2K Sports Inside Edge, created by real big league scouts. Get it with Major League Baseball 2K6, the only MLB simulation on Xbox and Xbox 360. Rated E for everyone.
You're wearing your varsity tennis jersey from high school. Yeah? Is this because I wore my old Philadelphia Eagles jacket to work yesterday?
No, I just felt like wearing this. It's comfortable.
What makes them different makes them great. Mike and Mike in the Morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Well, it's been a long day for Strahan.
What a lovely shot.
Hey, maybe it's your deodorant. Let's start over. No, this time start with Right Guard Gel. No other gel is stronger. Right Guard. Start right and right.
So you like hang out with the surfers a lot?
Yes, Hike Beach.
Yeah, I'm always down here too. I carry their boards. They change inside me, and I've got a urethane-coated floor, so sand and water don't bother me.
Hike Beach.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring four-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
Sunday Night Baseball, Washington 1, Atlanta nothing. Last of the 7th inning. Washington managed by the great Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. And let's go down to our colleague Peter Gammons.
Well, John and Joe, somewhere I think that some of the greatness of Frank Robinson has dropped through the cracks. Oh, yes, everybody knows he had 586 home runs as the MVP in both leagues. And I think most people realize his tremendous ferocity. There are two things that I remember most. One was a game in 1969 at Fenway Park when he prevented the game-winning home run in the bottom of the ninth by diving over that low fence, and he smashed his rib. So he came up in the 10th inning. He could not swing the bat. So what did he do? He dropped on a boat with the bases loaded to bring in the winning run. The other thing was he was still a great player, and yet he spent 6 winters managing in San Juan in the Puerto Rican League, so that when he became the first African-American manager, he would be completely prepared. I mean, you guys may know better than I where he stands as one of the 10 or the 15 or 20 greatest players, but I do know this. He is one of the greatest men that ever wore a baseball uniform.
Right, and Joe, Peter talking about one of your Hall of Fame colleagues there, Frank Robinson.
Frank has always been underrated for everything that he has done. I mean, he didn't even make the All-Century team as a starter on the, with 586 home runs. I mean, the only guy to win an MVP in both leagues, so he's always been underappreciated. So, I agree with that. I think he's been underappreciated with his contributions to the game. Not just being the first African-American manager, but, he was assistant general manager. He's been around the game for a long period of time, and I don't think there's anyone that knows more about the game than Frank Robinson. There may be someone knows as much, but no one knows more about this game from start to finish, from hitting to pitching to everything else than Frank Robinson.
Lance Cormier on to pitch for Atlanta, and Marlon Anderson, the pinch hitter for Felix Rodriguez. Top of the order coming up next with Alfonso Soriano on deck. Washington ahead 1-0. Andrew Jones gets there, as he almost always does, and there is one away. I remember when Frank went to the American League in 1966, and in his first year in the American League won the Triple Crown, and the Orioles won their first World Series that year. And Brooks Robinson says, we were a good team, but when Frank got there, he taught us how to win. And it wasn't just that he was a great hitter and he added all that offense and whatnot, but he taught them a few things. And that was saying a lot, because a lot of people said Brooks, he taught them a lot about the game. But and Frank Robinson, nobody has ever made a whole lot of the fact that Frank retired probably before he should have retired.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to devote full-time effort to managing, since there was a major thing that had happened in baseball. He was the first African-American to be a big league manager.
But I think
it took a long time.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is he thought it was going to last for a year, but now here he is, still managing with 1,001 victories now.
So Frank's got Majeski up, getting ready for the 8th inning in the bullpen. Jose Vidro, as Soriano is retired. Vidro has grounded into a double play, flied out to shallow center, and walked.
Well, you know, I have a little more appreciation for him as well because he came from my hometown. You know, we both grew up in Oakland, California. And, you know, Frank was ahead of me, but he was always kind of the guy that you inspired, you know, you wanted to be like. He was the guy that was the first of the group of superstars to come out of, you know, the Oakland area. Him and Veda Pinson, you know, Willie Stargell, Just Gonder, Tommy Harper, J.W. Porter. I can go on and on. There were so many great players that came from that area, and Frank was kind of the top dog of all of them. He was the man. And, you know, he's always been that way. And he's I think part of the reason, you know, Frank is not easy to get to know, but once you get to know him, you know, he's a friend and he's a guy that you really admire, you know, and I got a chance to play for him. And I have to tell you, you know, once you get close to him, you realize who he really is. But it's not easy to get close to him. I mean, that's a fact. But the people that he lets get close to him, you know, you really appreciate who he really is.
Frank Robinson, 586 homers, and surely would have gone well past 600.
Yeah.
But he just said, hey, this is an important thing, not just managing and starting a managerial career, but being the very first African-American to manage. And so he quit. When he first started, he was still a player. He was a manager and a player.
And a lot of people may not understand, if he didn't take the job then, how long would it have been before there was an African-American manager? So he understood what he was supposed to do, and he did it.
Nice catch by Adam LaRoche. Vidro is retired. I think LaRoche caught it in foul ground. Now to the 8th inning. It is 1-0 Washington.
People everywhere are experiencing a breakthrough.
Let us observe my client after eating a spicy chicken burrito.
I was full.
And what were you full of?
Great taste.
Fullness and great taste from a value menu. I do believe I rest my case.
Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu, featuring the spicy chicken burrito with shredded chicken simmered in Mexican spices to keep your stomach and your wallet full. Think outside the bun.
Coach says, why pay more to stay somewhere else? Just slide into Motel 6. It's clean, comfortable, and always a steal. Good one, Coach.
We'll leave the light on for you. And a Accor Hotel.
Well, you're part duck, part beaver, and part otter.
I am a bit of a hodgepodge. But look at you. Part SUV, part van, part surf wagon.
Where does a platypus learn a word like hodgepodge?
They first appeared in the late 1940s. There are more sightings every year. And this Friday, one family will experience a first-hand encounter.
What is that?
It's an RV. We're taking it on vacation.
From the director of Men in Black,
Come on, it'll be fun. Let's go.
Robin Williams.
We're not campers.
Why not?
For one thing, we like to shower.
RV.
My bad.
Rated PG.
Steroids can really damage your body. They can cause tendons to tear and bones to stop growing, damage kidneys, destroy the liver, even cause heart attacks and strokes. Not to mention something else they can do to a guy's body. Find out more about the dangers of using steroids. Visit drugfree.org.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by the Spicy Chicken Burrito on Taco Bell's Big Bell Value Menu. Think outside the bun. And in part by the Honda Element, who invites you to stop by elementandfriends.com. And RV, starring Robin Williams, in theaters April 28th.
Gary Majeski in from the Washington bullpen, and 0-1 the count to Martin Prado. He was at the plate when Adam LaRoche got thrown out at second to end the 7th inning. So Prado up there again against a different pitcher. Felix Rodriguez out of there now. Majeski, who last year, his first full season in the big leagues, got into 79 games. That's a lot of games especially when you consider he started the year in the minor leagues first. So he was in several games in the minor leagues and then got into 79 in the big leagues after being called up on April 18. And last year, they were pretty solid at the end of the games. They had Luis Ayala as a setup man, Majeski in front of him, and then you had Cordero doing the closing. He had a great year. But they lost Luis Ayala. He was injured in that game where Team Mexico eliminated Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, and he's out for the season. So now Majeski is in the 8th inning slot. And Prado's got his first big league hit, and it's going to be for extra bases. And he is moving. He's to second. Now heading for third, and he's going to make it there easily. A triple.
I was going to mention that I like the way that he swings the bat. I mean, you can see that he's got a quick through the zone. I was noticing that when Felix was throwing. Then when Majeski came in, he even looked like he got a little quicker. Fastball on the inside part of the plate, but nice level swing. Watch how quick he gets to the zone there. Nice level, nice compact swing. They had him played around. Guillen was playing him so far near the line they expect him to go the other way, hit it down the right field line. And of course he found the gap in right center, and now he has a triple.
So now Matt Diaz is the pinch hitter. Ooh, Majeski looked pretty quick on that one. 0-1 the count. Diaz, who's from Portland, Oregon. Ordinarily, you would pronounce that name Diaz, but he says the family that came from Barcelona, Spain, I think his grandparents, and they wanted to Americanize it. He liked the sound. He said in the U.S. his grandfather of Diaz, so that's the way it stayed. And Diaz is trying to, by any name, get a base hit to tie this game right now, or even a fly ball, maybe a ground ball to one of the middle infielders. He's had 4 hits and 20 at bats so far this year. 1-0, Washington. Back out of play, still 0-2 the count to Diaz. Man, all those wasted opportunities for Washington now looking very glaring with this runner at third. There's Villarreal and Ritzma both out. Villarreal has been more of a setup man. Ritzma, the Atlanta closer. Guillen has a pretty good arm. Medium right. And he's just bluffing. Cut off by Johnson. Prado bluffed. And then the throw came in, and he went back.
This will be interesting now, just see how Frank wants to play this. With 1 out, do you bring the infield in and try to cut the guy off and risk putting the go-ahead run on base, or do you just let him stay back and give up the tying run on the ground out? I understand you can't play the infield in with no 1 out, but now you have 1 out, do you take that chance? Well, Frank is saying watch. I guess he's saying watch him. Maybe he's going to move him in on certain pitches and back on other pitches.
He or the hitter, rather than Marcus Giles, in the leadoff spot, or has only 2 RBIs this year. They're staying back there in the middle.
Well, they're playing as strange. Jose Vidro is not playing back. He's playing, I don't know, he's playing in a little bit.
He's like double play there.
Yeah. And what Frank was saying, watch, if it's a 1 hopper and the guy doesn't get a good jump from third, I guess he means you can come home.
Or chase run, and Majeski got a little extra on that one at 95. 1-0, Washington in the 8th.
Well, this fastball runs away well off the plate.
Jameson got it 96. It's getting faster all the time.
He's got a good fastball, there's no doubt.
A ball and a strike. Fastball misses. 2-1 to Orr. Betemit on deck. Remember, the Braves are without their leadoff man, Marcus Giles. Although he took batting practice tonight and had a very good batting practice. He hit several shots out of the yard here. There's Betemit on deck. Also without Renteria's got a little ribcage injury. And he may not be back for a couple of days yet. Chipper Jones is on the disabled list. He got that injury in San Francisco 2 weeks ago today. Sprained his knee and his ankle. There's Renteria. Chipper is likely to be activated and will play Tuesday in Milwaukee. 2-2 to count. And they're playing hardball out there. He's throwing hard stuff, and Orr is fighting it off. There is Martin Prado, whose first big league hit came here in the 8th. It was a triple. He is the possible tying run at third base with 1 out. 3-2. And the crowd didn't see it the way Bruce Fleming saw it.
Well, everything has been away. All his fastballs have been tailing away. I mean, if he had good enough control, or he thinks so, a fastball in here might get the job done, but they're going away again.
And he walks him. So Pete Orr, with a pretty determined trip to the plate there. And now Wilson Betemit comes up. And I think Betemit, not that Orr is, can't hit, but Betemit last year, when Chipper Jones was hurt, he played every day for a long period of time, and he hit real well.
Well, Bobby Cox has been known to put a squeeze on every once in a while, and this is that situation, except you have a left-handed hitter up there, and it's far more difficult to squeeze with a left-handed hitter up because you can just throw the ball outside, and he'll have to step across the plate to do anything, and it's easier to handle the runner at third base with a left-handed hitter up there. That's the pitch I thought he could have thrown to Orr on the inside part of the plate. I think he could have struck him out. And you can see clearly that ball got the corner, but I think what happened, they were set up away, and Thomson was out there with them, and the pitch was back on the inside.
All right. That reaching there, but the catcher may have cost him. Back out of play. That time he was asking for it to the outside, and Majeski put it there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And that's, again, why I thought all those pitches to Orr being away, he could have come inside 3-2 and maybe got the strikeout he was looking for, but he determined to pitch away, and that's his style.
Betemit hit .305 last year as a rookie. That's in there.
And you see, every time he comes inside, they take it. They're looking, the ball's away, and he's trying to throw everything away. I just think that fastball inside is there. Pitch supposed to be away. You can see it's inside part of the plate.
So now 1-2 to Betemit. Longerhans on deck. Toronto at third, Orr at first. That's deep into right center field. Way back there. And that ball is gone. A 3-run homer. Wilson Betemit has put Atlanta ahead 3-1.
Well, that was a high fastball. And that's his style. He wants to stay away from the left-handed hitters. And in doing so, that ball ran out over the plate, and Betemit hit it straight away.
Second home run of the year for Betemit, and that was a big one. Here is Longerhans, and that's a strike. Betemit playing in place of the regular shortstop, Edgar Renteria. Betemit's second hit of the game, and this was huge. 3-1 Atlanta.
But it looked like Majeski was, in control. He was throwing well, but all it takes is one pitch in the wrong area. That's why relief pitching is so tough to do.
And Soriano cannot get to that one.
Well, let's take a look. See, they're set up outside, and there it is, out away from him. I still think that, with his fastball, you can come inside and maybe get get what you want. He came inside a couple of pitches before, and they always took the ball inside because they're looking out over the plate. Because there's probably the scouting report that says he's going to stay away from you.
2-2 to Langerhans. Well, Wilson Betemit has come up big in the 8th inning in each of the 2 games of this series for Atlanta. And Langerhans is down. 2 down. Andrew Jones coming up. Let's go to John Buchagras at the Sports Center, 30 at 30.
NBA playoffs. Phoenix Suns were winners today over the Lakers. Tim Thomas, 22 points, 15 rebounds. The Pacers beat the Nets in New Jersey. The Pistons were winners, and Memphis is playing Dallas right now. Greg Maddux, 40 years old and 4-0. He won again. And Roy Oswalt was a winner for the Astros, also 4-0. John.
Andrew Jones takes ball 1 outside. So Wilson Betemit gets the big hit. Andrew Jones, meanwhile, 0 for 3 in this game and 0 for 7 in the series. Hasn't even been on base yet. Betemit, they were down 3-0 in the 8th inning in Friday's game 1. And they came back with a 3-run rally. Betemit drove in the tying run. In that game, in this one, in the 8th inning, down 1-0, he hits a 3-run homer. That's back out of play. 2-1 to Andrew. So Tony Armas, 6 in the 3rd, shutout innings, gets no decision. And John Thomson, who went 6 innings for Atlantic, allowing 1 run, same thing. Although in this case, he left trailing. Low and outside. Into the 3-1. So they've contained Andrew Jones, but the Nats have had their own problems tonight in those clutch at-bats with runners in scoring position. Twice in bases-loaded situations, they came up empty.
And Andrew is his balance, everything is off tonight. I don't know if he's having trouble seeing the ball or picking it up, but he is struggling a little bit. And you can see he's 0 for 7 this series. I wouldn't be surprised if he's having, he is having trouble finding the ball.
Came on the heels of a huge series as he takes ball 4. He had a huge series at Shea Stadium earlier in the week against the Mets. That's a series where they lost the first game and then got 2 complete game victories in the final 2 games of the set before coming here. And Andrew had 4 home runs in those 3 games. So he's on base for the first time this weekend. And now Adam LaRoche is the hitter. Vidro into shallow right field. And the inning is over. So now the Nats have some catching up to do. Nick Johnson, Jose Guillen, and Ryan Zimmerman, the 3, 4, 5 hitters in the order coming up. They're down 3-1.
That was an awesome show. Awesome. Hey, would you mind?
No problem.
Me too. So, are you the bass player or the drummer?
I'm not in the band. I'm just here for the Bud Light. Who's pen?
Johnny! Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Who's Todd Sisler? Your life will change. Families will grow. A gifted child will need an exceptional education. 4 friends will become 4 tycoons. Widows will go on. Partnerships will be offered. Leaps of faith will be taken. Fears will be overcome. The unobtainable will be found, and roles will be reversed. At moments like these, you need powerful resources, both financial and personal. A partner who knows you and what matters to you. At Merrill Lynch, our financial advisors know that in a world full of change, there is something beyond just achieving wealth. It is achieving life. Total living. Total Merrill.
A John Deere 100 series can be yours starting at $13.99. Welcome to the John Deere neighborhood. Now available in more stores than ever. See the full line at johndeere.com.
Friday at 8 on ESPN and ESPN2. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Braves 3, Nationals 1, last of the 8th inning in Washington. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Peter Gammons. And suddenly the Nationals, who took the lead in the very first inning of this game, now have to play catch-up. And Chris Reitsma, the Atlanta closer, is on, apparently for a 2-inning save. And he should be fresh, Joe, because he has not pitched in a long time. What with days off and rainouts and complete games and whatnot, 3 of their last 5 games before tonight, they had complete games. His last outing was 9 days ago, April the 14th. What, a week ago Friday, since he last pitched. 2-0 the count to Nick Johnson. That's scribbled foul on the third base side. 2-1 with Guillen on deck. This is a spot where you like to see, if you're a Nationals fan, Nick Johnson get aboard, because Guillen is one of their top home run hitters. And he almost hit one of the first innings tonight. Braves bullpen has been really a work in progress. And the bullpen has taken its lumps, Reitsma included. That's into right center field. That's a base hit. Andrew Jones gets it back. And so, Jose Guillen is coming up now as the possible tying run. Guillen drove one. It actually short-hopped the wall in deep right center in the first inning to knock Johnson in, who himself had doubled. And Washington has not scored since. Guillen grounded a short in the 4th and was walked intentionally in the 5th. And the high slider misses. Other changes for the Braves. There's Tony Pena Jr., his son, a former big leaguer, at short, and Wilson Betemit moves over to third base. Orr is out of the game. Reitsma is inserted in the leadoff spot. Pena in the number 9 position. Strike on the outside at the knees. Reitsma with a 6.35 ERA. Joey Eischen, meanwhile, the left-hander, is up in the Washington bullpen. The rookie Zimmerman on deck. Changed out. 1-2.
That's a beautiful pitch. I mean, he's thrown all fastballs to both Nick Johnson, and the first 2 pitches to Jose Guillen, and then he threw him a great changeup. Jose looking fastball.
Now he's behind in the count is Guillen, 1-2. Along the right field line, that one is foul. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Guillen, who hit a lot of home runs last year when you consider that he only hit 3 of them in his home ballpark.
Well, it looks like he doesn't like this ballpark to hit in. 238 at RFK and 320 on the road. Look at that.
I mean, on the road, he was an all-star. He was one of the best in the league on the road. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that.
No, that's very, very unusual, you know, for a good hitter.
They had those 380 markers out there in the power alleys, and then they measured them off finally. Found out they were much deeper than that, and Guillen is down on strikes.
Excellent pitching there by Reitsma, just to change speeds. Threw a fastball in and jammed him that he hit down the right field line on the pitch before. Now he comes back with another off-speed pitch, and watch, Guillen is way out in front. That changeup, he's way out in front. But it's pretty good changeup too. He's got good motion with it, and coming off the good fastball, you have to look like it's a fastball, so you attack it.
Ryan Zimmerman now, who is 1 for 3 in the game, and that's ball 1. Peter Gammons is with us, and Peter, what about this Braves bullpen?
Well, what's amazing about Bobby Cox is he always goes, well, you know, it'll work out one way or another. To be honest, he's more worried about his starting rotation. It might be Reetzema, it might be left-hander McCade McBride, who got hurt in spring training, is down, working his way back. But he's never really had a great bullpen. He's always had to put things together. John Smoltz is the only stable closer he had for 3 years. I mean, John Rocker and Mark Wohl was hardly stable, led them in saves for 3 years. And all the other guys, the Peñas, the Berengers, the McMichaels, the Leitenbergs, you take all what they did after they left the Braves, they total 45 saves, 21 by Stanton over 11 years. It's just amazing what Bobby Cox does.
And that is an interesting point because everybody wants a top closer, right? And yet nobody's had more success than the Atlanta Braves. 14 consecutive division titles.
Well, I've always said, and I still believe, that starting pitching is still more important than, you know, your relief pitching at the end. If you can't get to the relief pitcher to get to your closer, it doesn't do you any good. And the Braves are a great example of that. I mean, when they had Maddox, Flatt, and all those guys, they never had a great closer. But, I mean, I think unless you have a Mariano Rivera or someone like that, I think that, you know, it's overrated to a point. I think the starting pitchers are what's important. You have to have starting pitching.
Well, where it may have shown up, when you bring up Rivera, is in the World Series.
Right.
Or in those postseason short series. They get the force out. Zimmerman bouncing it to Betemit, and his throw to Prado gets Johnson at second base. Zimmerman is saved at first with 2 down. And Church coming up.
And you can look at these guys, not to say that they weren't good closers, but they weren't, you know, Mariano Rivera or Gagne or Rob Nin or Hoffman. You know, they weren't in that category. So you can win without the big closer if you have a great starting rotation. Now, if you do not have a good starting rotation, your bullpen and the closer becomes more important.
There's that changeup again. It's 0-1 to Ryan Church. Left-handed hitter with power. 3-1 Atlanta. I mean, some of those guys like Alejandro Peña that one year, he only became the closer in the last few weeks of the season. Greg McMichael had been a setup man, and they pressed him into duty as a closer. And Kerry Leitenberg, he actually had been in an independent league at one point. That they found him and brought him in. But the Yankees in those postseason series with a lead, Rivera, they never gave it up. Except in Game 7 of the 2001 World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ryan Church. You know, that's always kind of a knock on the Braves, despite all the success that they haven't won more World Series. But for me, it's about the journey. Well, you get to the World Series, you were successful.
Well, I think you are successful. I agree with you. But if you are the Braves and you get there, you say, well, I got to win one of these. They did win one, but I think
that's headed for right field. There is Prado, but he can't hang on to it. He did well to get to it. Zimmerman into second. Church is aboard. Clayton due up, but he's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter.
Well, we've seen Prado at bat. He has great quickness, and he hustles to get it, and he actually has a chance, but he can't complete the transfer to his throwing hand. He dives, comes up with it. Now, when he tries to complete the transfer, he loses the ball, but a great play just to get to that ball.
Well, they're going to go to the bench now, and Darrell Ward is going to be sent up there by Frank Robinson. Marcus Giles is the guy who is missing from the lineup. Giles, and you see the bandaged middle finger in his left hand. He's tense, Joe. It looks a little tense.
Well, on his left side especially, but he hurt his left finger diving into second base, and that's how he injured his hand.
And that makes me think, how are you doing? Are you tense?
No, I'm fine.
You need a little...
No, I'm fine. I think this is a tense moment if you're the Atlanta Braves, because Darrell Big Fly Ward can put you behind again.
Yeah, he could lose one.
Yeah, and he doesn't go up there swinging for singles.
He's only had 11 at-bats this year. He's got 2 home runs. One of them is a pinch hitter. He's 4 for 11. And how about this for his 4 hits? 2 doubles, 2 home runs.
Yeah, he's not going up there swinging for singles.
Now, their pinch hitters have done very poorly as a group. But the one guy who's had some success is this man. Frank Robinson using his best pinch hitter so far this year right now. Darrell Ward batting for Clayton. 2 on, 2 out. Ward trying to get those 2 guys home. And high breaking ball misses. 2-0. He's got the count in his favor. You saw that he's not had a whole lot of success against Reach. He's had 3 hits, but he's also struck out in nearly half of his at-bats against Reachman.
Well, it depends on Reachman. I mean, if he gets the changeup over, he's got a good chance against Ward. But if he doesn't and has to give him a fastball, Ward, everything switches to his side of the ledger.
Ward
and 2-0, so he just shook off. I don't think he wants to throw him a fastball. He just shook off the first sign. Oh, he did give him a fastball, and Ward missed it.
So it was McCann who was thinking like you.
Yeah. No. I thought he was going to throw him a fastball, but he shook it off right away. But I guess he was shaking off location.
All right, so he wasn't. So McCann called fastball, you think?
Yeah. Then he shook off location.
All right. 2 men on. Zimmerman at second. There's Church at first. He is the possible tying run. 3-1 Atlanta, last of the 8th. 2 down. 2 balls and a strike. On the outside corner. 2-2.
Now, if you're Reachman, you say, well, now things are in my favor. I had to give in to him 2-0. Now it's 2-2. If I want to throw him a changeup, if I want to throw him a curveball, everything switches to me. And I have 2 ways of going, the changeup or the breaking ball.
And this is probably the similar count to the one in which he struck him out 6 times. 2-2 to Ward. Schneider would be next.
Ooh, there's a changeup, but a good job by Ward to foul it off.
Now, you have 13 at-bats against a guy, and you struck out 6 times. I mean, you have a kind of a feel now for how the guy's been getting you out, right?
Well, I don't know if you got much of a feel, but you do know how he's getting you out.
You have a feel for the fact that you have no feel against this guy.
Exactly.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
But the one thing is, if you make a mistake, I mean, Ward will always, make you pay. He's not cutting down on his swing to try to hit a single here.
Oh, that changeup apparently a little bit too low.
I'll tell you what, you don't walk off on Bruce Fromming like that. Yeah, Bruce Fromming doesn't like that.
Ooh,
yeah.
K-Zone liked it.
Yeah.
Well, that was in there.
Moving it a little too quickly.
Just at the knees.
Right at the knees. And the changeup.
I don't know how he could say. I guess he was
couldn't hit it. Yeah. A lot of times you take pitches not because you think they're balls, but because you can't handle them.
Well, now the runners will be going.
This is an interesting pitch right here.
There they go. And there is Prado.
From another changeup.
Washington has put 14 men on base, only 1 run. 3-1 Atlanta, on to the 9th.
CDs USA. It's the biggest music event of the year. Every week. The most exciting acts in the world. Back to back to back. All in one show. Coming up this week, Rihanna. Sierra Swan. And a whole lot more. CD USA. Only on DirecTV. Channel 101.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, where were you?
What do you mean?
You're supposed to pick me up at the airport.
Oh, softball game.
I just waited for like 2 hours.
It was playoffs. I got a double.
That's great.
12-3.
Good.
All-season radio tires, anti-lock brakes, electronic stability control, They made everything about the automobile safer, except the driver. Introducing the Safe Driving Bonus, new from Allstate. With cash off your renewal bill for every 6 months you don't have one of these. It's time to make the world a better place to drive. That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands?
The NFL Draft begins Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Back in Washington, 3-1 Atlanta as we go to the 9th inning. Fans give a gift to more than just mom this Mother's Day. Major League Baseball is donating $1 for the sale of special pink ribboned caps and shirts to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. For more information, please visit MLB.com. Joey Eischen, Francoeur, first ball swinging. Vigro throws him out. Eischen, the new pitcher, and Damian Jackson is the new shortstop. And Jackson will be slotted in the number 9 position. You see Eichen's numbers, and they're not too pretty so far, Joe.
No, that's 18 earned run average. That's not good.
Eischen, a veteran lefty, as you see Damian Jackson at short. Into left field, to right field, Guillen, and that is out number 2. So McCann hit that one sharply. Eichen's making it look pretty easy for a guy with an 18 ERA, though.
Yeah.
2 pitches, 2 outs.
Well, they're helping. I mean, you had Francoeur and McCann. You know, Francoeur, you know he's going to swing.
So you eventually like to see Francoeur get a little more patient.
Yeah, I think he has to in order to be consistent in the big leagues. You're going to have to be a little more patient. If they know they do not have to throw you a strike, they're going to try to throw their best pitch for a strike on the first pitch, and then you'll be swinging at it. You see a lot of guys take a strike because it's a pitcher's pitch, and then they wait for pitcher to make a mistake, so to speak. But if you swing at all pitchers' pitches, you're going to make a lot of outs.
Martin Prado, he started in his Major League debut the 3-run 8th inning rally that put the Braves ahead. Prado just up in the minors. He hit a triple into right center, his first Major League hit. And a little while later, he scored on Wilson Betemit's 3-run homer. Betemit, who had his rookie season last year, although he'd been up briefly before. On the outside from Eischen for a strike, 2-1. Remember, Eischen, we did a game here when the Mets played here late April on Sunday Night Baseball a year ago. Eischen came in out of the bullpen. The guy had a little chop on the third base side. Eischen made a dive for it and broke his wrist. So we're happy to come back a year later and see he actually recovered. He actually pitched late last year again. And he's been real tough on the lefties. It's the right-handers who have been destroying him so far this year. And he walks the right-handed batting Prado, who's actually been on base 3 times. Joe, you have to love this guy. I mean, Major League debut, he looks pretty good.
Well, I like his swing. He's got a very quick bat, and it goes through the zone with some steam. I mean, he can drive the ball. As we saw, he hit a hard line drive in the right center. That was with 2 strikes when he had even cut down on his swing. So I think it looks like he can get a good prospect.
Martin Prado just in there because of the injury for Marcus Giles. Giles not even on the disabled list. That's just inside to Tony Pena Jr. His dad was a big league catcher for a long, long time, and then a big league manager, and now a big league coach. And Tony Pena was like the thinking man's catcher.
Yeah, he's special. I mean, he really worked well with his pitchers, talking to them and giving them confidence. And he had one of the great setups. I mean, he could get real low for that low pitch.
Nobody could get low.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He was like the Cirque du Soleil acrobat because he was down there in that crouch, and I don't know how he did it with that.
I don't either.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Tony Pena Jr., who we're told is an outstanding shortstop. There is Oscar Villarreal in the Atlanta bullpen. Usually Villarreal this year has been the setup man and Reachman the closer. Rietsma, though, threw 25 pitches in that 8th inning. So he had a tough go, and that's a lot of pitches for a closer. That would be normally a full night's work for a closer. And also remember, Rietsma was in a game tonight for the first time in 9 days. And in the jacket over the right arm, in the dugout, 1-2. Tries the curveball, misses outside of it. 2-2 the count. Ninth inning, 3-1, Atlanta. 21,569, the paid crowd tonight in Washington after a rain out here last night. Ooh. Got it by him. Last chance for the Nats. Schneider, Damian Jackson, Alfonso Soriano due up. 3-1, Atlanta.
So you like hang out with the surfers a lot?
Yes, I pinch.
Yeah, I'm always down here too. I carry their boards. They change inside me, and I've got a urethane-coated floor, so sand and water don't bother me.
I pinch.
Introducing the new John Deere Select Series featuring 4-wheel steer. Maneuverability has reached the turning point. See our entire new line at johndeere.com.
Get Major League Baseball for every team all season long, no matter where you are, on XM Satellite Radio. With radio starting at $49.99. Only on XM Satellite Radio. Listen large.
Hallway. Kitchen. Dining room. Here he comes.
The right floor makes everybody happy. That's why Lowe's has the widest selection of any national retailer, whether it's tile, hardwood, or carpet. We'll even install it for you. Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 12 months on purchases of $299 or more now through April 30th.
Go to GameTap, where you can play hundreds of the greatest video games from the greatest systems right from your broadband-connected PC. You can play everything from arcade hits like Pac-Man and Sonic to modern favorites like Tomb Raider, Splinter Cell, and more. There are over 400 games, and there's no long-term commitment required. Experience the new world of video games. GameTap. Expand your playground. Play now and get 2 weeks free at GameTap.com/explore. Some games rated E to T, not all games rated by the ESRB.
Last of the ninth, Chris Rietsma with a 2-run lead, and he's got Darrell Ward to end the 8th inning in a jam.
Well, it was a big at-bat. Here the high pitch for a ball. There's a breaking ball. Change up, another fastball. Here's the pitch that I think made the difference. The 4th pitch made a big difference because then he went off the plate for 5, and then he took 6, and he went out there again. So good pitching there by Rietsma to stay away from Darrell Ward, who is a good, solid home run hitter if you get the ball middle of the plate in.
This is Brian Schneider. He's walked, hit into a double play, and grounded out to short. 0 for 2. Rietsma threw 25 pitches all told in that 8th inning, and a lot of them under duress because he had men on base. Ultimately, when he got Ward, the possible tying runs were on base, 2 men on in that spot. And just in case, the Atlanta bullpen is busy back of Rietsma. That's in there for a strike. Schneider has faced him just a few times, 1 for 4. Jackson, Damian Jackson on deck. Same thing. Soriano's only faced him 1 time in his career. Here's Prado. Remember, it's a catcher running. 1 away.
And he played that the proper way, didn't rush, just took his time because, as you mentioned, the catcher was running, and that's what you have to know as a infielder, know who's running at all times.
Martin Prado in his Major League debut. There is the Atlanta bullpen. That's Remlinger in the foreground, the left-hander, and Oscar Villarreal, the right-hander. He'll be ready if needed. Here's Damian Jackson, speedy right-handed hitter. In the dirt with the breaking ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, Washington have been playing well lately. They won 5 of their last 7. Finally home. They played 13 of their first 16 games this year on the road. And they were not playing well on the road for a while out there either.
Well, the problem is, John, they've had numerous opportunities tonight, and as you mentioned, they weren't able to convert them. And, I mean, they've had a 1-0 lead since the first inning. They had a 1-0 lead since the first inning, couldn't add to it.
They had the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th inning. And John Thomson got Brian Schneider to ground into an inning-ending double play. And they ended up with the bases loaded again in the 5th inning with 2 down. And Thomson struck out Zimmerman. Bobby Cox was involved in that. He walked the cleanup hitter, DN, intentionally with 2 down to load the bases. But even before that, they had 2 men out and 1 man out. Nick Johnson and DN, the next 2 hitters up, and they just could not get the hit. There is Soriano, but Jackson knows now he can get on. Soriano is a home run hitter. He had 3 home runs here Friday night against Atlanta. 3-1. And he did get aboard. And Soriano is coming up as the possible tying run. That's the 10th hit for Washington.
Well, it was a 3-1 count, so you can't walk the guy and bring the tying run to the plate. So he just tried to throw a fastball in the middle of the plate. He does that, and Jackson hits it in the left field for a base hit.
Alfonso Soriano. And he's had the hot hand lately, as you would know, even just by knowing he had 3 home runs on Friday. But he'd been hot before that. And this is not an easy ballpark, as you've seen tonight. They hit a home run, and he had 3 of them Friday. Strike on the outside. You know, the last time somebody hit 3 home runs in the same game here was 1964. Boog Powell for Baltimore hit 3 here against the old Washington Senators. Third baseman Betemit hugging the line. Soriano, I think he was thinking downtown on that one.
Well, he got a changeup on the inner half of the plate, and I don't know if that's a good pitch to throw him, especially in that spot. It's supposed to be away, so you see it's on the inside part of the plate, and that's not exactly where you want to throw the changeup anyway. And he had a good swing at it.
Up and away, the 37th pitch thrown by Rietzman. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Soriano has only faced Rietzman 1 time. He's 0 for 1 against him. Vidro on deck. You got all the big hitters coming up now. After Soriano, Vidro, then Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson in the hole. A ball and 2 strikes. Into the hole. Pena just in time to get Jackson, a very fast runner. Prado taking the throw.
Well, Soriano got a little bit out in front of that last pitch. First pitch, a fastball over the outside corner. Change up inside, he fouled back. Another fastball. There's a change up that he hits into the hole, but a nice play by Pena.
Here's Vidro. There's a shot down the right field line into the corner. It's off the base of the wall. And it's only going to be a single for Vidro. Over to third base is Soriano. So that's big. The carom played by Francoeur with the strong arm, holding Vidro to a single, because he would have been in scoring position if he'd been able to turn that into a double. And Bobby Cox with the left-handed batting. Nick Johnson coming up. Here comes Bobby. And he's going to bring in the left-hander, Remlinger, from the pen. Another shot for it. Washington, their last shot perhaps on this night, down 3-1. We'll be coming right back.
Here's all you need to know to get a thick green lawn without all those dandelions. Nothing, and I mean nothing, works better than Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2. What's the secret? It's got a special formula with patented small particles. They stick to the leaf, they kill to the root, killing dandelions completely, guaranteed. And Turf Builder Plus 2 greens and thickens for the best kind of lawn there is. A Scott's lawn. Nothing beats Scott's Turf Builder Plus 2.
Experience the film Time Magazine calls unmissable.
How many more out there?
I'm getting no response on United 93.
The extraordinary story
What happens if they hit the Capitol, sir?
of 40 ordinary people.
There's a lot of us.
We have to take action. Who saved the nation's capital.
This is a national emergency. We're at war with someone.
To go very fast. Let's roll.
United 93, rated R, starts Friday.
No, I didn't drink any water, that's why.
3-1, Atlanta. Last of the ninth inning. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, Peter Gammons. We're at RFK Stadium in Washington, and Nick Johnson is coming up with 2 men on and 2 men out. Right after the game, Sports Center on ESPN. Stuart Scott, Neil Everett, the big unit, had a strong one today at Yankee Stadium. An NBA Game 1 upset. Too much fame for Matt Leiter. What do you think?
I don't know.
They'll discuss it.
Too much fame.
They'll discuss it on ESPN, the Sports Center, right after the game. Now, how can you have too much fame?
I don't know. I guess the percentage.
So here's Johnson, and he's been Washington's best hitter. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Strike with a slider. And the veteran, Mike Remlinger, been around for a long time. 2 men on. Alfonso Soriano at third base. And a pinch runner, Brendan Harris, the possible tying run over at first base. LaRoche on the bag with him. Hit that one down off the plate, came up and hit the bat a second time.
Looked like that was a pretty good pitch to hit, except he was out in front a little bit.
Johnson hitting .391 for the season with his 2 hits tonight. He's only faced Remlinger 1 other time, and Remlinger retired him. There is Jose Guillen, who would be next. Villarreal still up in the Atlanta bullpen. The Braves hoping at long last to get that big hit, the one that's been lacking almost all night. Fastball missing. The Braves trying to withstand one charge after another by this Washington club. Washington has had 16 men reach base, and only 1 has scored.
Man, another good pitch to hit.
That was a mistake by
hanging breaking ball. This was a hanging breaking ball right about the middle of the plate. Well, toward the outside corner, but it was still up. As Bobby saying, ring him up.
1-2. Too high. They tried to ring him up on that one.
Well, the one thing about Nick Johnson, he usually will make you throw a strike. He doesn't go out of the strike zone too often.
Two and 2 to Johnson. 2 out, 2 on. Washington down by 2. Remlinger ready to try it again. And that will do it. LaRoche.
Good pitch.
The ball game is over, and Atlanta comes back to salvage a split with Washington in this rain-abbreviated series. Lance Cormier, in relief of Thomson, gets the win, and Majeski takes the loss. Wilson Betemit, thankfully injured
Renteria hits the game-winning home run. A rally started by Martin Prado playing in place of the injured Marcus Giles. The Braves seem to have an endless supply of young talent coming up to the minor leagues. So that does it. The Braves over the Nats, 3-1. Sports Center is next. Now for Joe Morgan and Peter Gammons, this is John Miller saying good night from Washington, D.C. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.